CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, August the 26th. It's going to be a sunny day to start today with a high of 22. Increasing clouds tonight, though, and a chance of showers on the way tomorrow. Full details in just a moment. But right now, the news begins, and we say good morning to Lisa Best.
Good morning, Ryan. Thank you. BC Wildfire Update has 165 fires burning in this province, 64 considered out of control, 61 new starts in the last day. It's quite dry out there. And 19 fires on Vancouver Island, including 5 considered out of control. The most southerly small fires are still a fraction of a hectare in size. They're all east of Port Renfrew and one out of control, another being held. But Premier David Eby took to the mic yesterday asking everyone to be cautious because it's getting drier.
We're going into a dry, warm, windy set of weather ahead, and there are increasing risks again of wildfires. So just asking British Columbians to please be careful out there, especially in the backcountry, and report those fires as soon as you see them. The Wildfire Service has been doing excellent work in knocking them down, but they have to know about them.
There are 3 wildfires are known across the province, all of those burning in the interior, and of course all have threatened communities. To the fire and provincial politics now. Another BC Conservative legislator has quit the opposition caucus. Rosalind Bird has become the third and this month and second in as many days to exit the party, headed by new leader Caroline Finlay. She says she will continue to represent Prince George, Valemount, as an independent, and she says she has a responsibility to reject hatred and discrimination. Finlay says the departures have opened up opportunities for others in the Conservative caucus.
They've made a choice, but what that choice has done has actually opened up amazing opportunities for leadership within our caucus.
Bird says she'll sit as an independent, and while her affiliation may be changing, her responsibility to her riding will not be. Well, as we know, the U.S. president's trade war with Canada is intensing, and we are retaliating against the U.S. with tariffs starting in about 2 weeks on about 50%, or actually on 700 different American products, anywhere from 25 to 50%. ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott has the latest from Washington, D.C.
Canadian leaders have called the president a dictator. They're calling him a bully. President Trump responded by saying he wants to rename the Lake of Ontario to the Lake of America, something that he cannot force other nations to recognize. The reality for so many Americans across the country is this. A new report shows that with all the president's tariffs that he's imposed, American families are paying more than $1,000 a year.
BC Premier David Eby says he's encouraging the Prime Minister to look at non-tariff measures in response to the latest escalation in the U.S. trade war. And, of course, there'll be more to come in that camp, possibly as soon as today. A Newfoundland-based scientist is leading an international team of researchers on an 8-month research mission to the Arctic. Maxim Jeffrey is aboard the Terra Polar Research Station, an aluminum-clad saucer-shaped science vessel. The Memorial University researcher says they have about more than 220 research protocols to work through while they're drifting on the Arctic sea ice.
There were just 6 scientists on board, so it's a very good analogy with the International Space Station. And the idea is to cover as much as possible of the different realms in the Arctic of the ecosystem. So we look at the atmosphere. We look at sea ice, we look at the water in the ocean, and there's also pollution and microbiology.
The scientists and the 6 crew members will take the first 8-month shift aboard the Terra Polar Research Station, where much of the Arctic experiences 24-hour darkness. Every dog has its day. In this case, it's today.
Since we're in the dog days of summer, it's only fitting that today is National Dog Day. It was created back in 2004 to raise awareness about the massive number of dogs in shelters that need adoption. And it's where we first heard the phrase, adopt, don't shop, urging people to think twice before buying puppies at pet stores. National Dog Day also recognizes the contributions that service dogs make to keep people safe. I'm Daria Albinger.
Of course, fans, pretty much everyone, is mourning the passing of Dolly Parton. That would include the royal ones. That is the honor guard at Buckingham Palace, in front of the palace, honoring the legend with, of course, their version of 9 to 5. Fans Fans will have a chance to celebrate Dolly Parton's life when her Broadway musical opens later this year. It's called Dolly, a true original musical. It will begin preview performances December 7th in New York City. It will tell the story of Dolly Parton's life in her own words and through her own songs. Among the hits that will be featured is that one, 9 to 5, Jolene, I Will Always Love You is in there too. It will also have new songs that Parton wrote just for this show, with Parton recently saying she'd worked on as many as 14 songs before narrowing it down. That's your news to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you if you'll take advantage of the soon-to-be expanded BC Transit service that takes you to the Victoria International Airport. 16% say yes. You can vote at cfax1070.com. Also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 6:07.
Thanks, Lisa, and good morning. Welcome to Wednesday. Another sunny one today with clouds, though, rolling in this evening. Now, yesterday we were saying the chance of showers is going to show up tonight. It looks like it's going to hold off until tomorrow. So dry evening ahead of us as well. We'll get you the full details in just a moment. Right now, there to the sports, and I got to say, it was a great effort, but the Victoria Shamrocks are out. The Coquitlam Adanacs defeated the Shamrocks 8-7 in a game that Victoria came out strong, but they just couldn't quite seal it at the end in Game 6 last night. So the Adanacs win the Western Lacrosse Association Championship Series 4-2. The Adanacs will advance to represent the WLA against the major series lacrosse champions for the National Man Cup. In baseball, Nathan Lucas was thrown out at second base to end the game after hitting a 2-run single as the Toronto Blue Jays fell to the Kansas City Royals 5-3. The Blue Jays slipped to 2.5 games out of a wild card berth with the loss. Kansas City has won 9 straight. And Cal Raleigh tied a team record with homers and 4 straight at-bats to carry the Seattle Mariners to a 4-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. In tennis, Serena Williams and Carlos Alcaraz are out of the mixed doubles tournament at the U.S. Open. After winning their debut playing together, Williams and Alcaraz got knocked out in the mixed doubles quarterfinals. It was Williams' first match back at a Grand Slam tournament in New York since 2022, as she makes a return to tennis at age 44. There's still life after 40. It's good to know. As a guy who's there himself. It's 6:08. We've got your traffic and weather coming up in just a moment, and the CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Right now, through August 26th, receive 1,000 Scene Plus points for every $200 Smile card you purchase in store at Thrifty Foods. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. A little bit of construction to let you know about later today. There will be delays for Quadra Street with underground work going on. It's northbound Quadra, closed completely from Fort all the way up to Broughton Street. It's going to be today from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's not on yet, but it's coming. Watch out for that. Bike lanes again. Fort Street. Cyclists have to dismount there as well. So it's not just a traffic closure, it's a cyclist closure. Right now, at this early hour, though, not much going on. The roads look clear. I'm going to pick on a different neighborhood today. Let's take the sort of Langford area around Costco, sort of that Langford Millstream area. It's taking you right now 18 minutes to get into downtown Victoria. That's with nobody on the road. So let's see how that builds as the morning goes on. And for BC Ferries, no sailing waits. Lots of room left on that 7 o'clock sailing. The weather forecast. Let's take a look at this. We're pushing that rain a little further ahead. So today is sunny, a little breezy still off the water. Bit cooler than yesterday, but not a ton. High of 22, humid index of 25. The clouds are starting to come tonight, lows to 13, but the chance of showers now won't be here until the morning and into the early afternoon. Originally, we were thinking it was going to start this evening as well, but it looks like it's going to be tomorrow before we see any showers. If we do, it's just a small chance of scattered showers. And then it's going to clear up pretty quick. We'll be into some clouds on Friday, but some sunshine for the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Looking sunny, but temperatures just climbing down a little more. Temperatures around 20 degrees is the high as of the weekend instead of the warmer ones we've been seeing right now. It's 6:11. Let's take a look at the business news. Well, opening bells are ringing later this morning for North American stock markets. So let's take a look at how things closed yesterday with David Augustine.
Markets on both sides of the border seemed unfazed by the escalating tariff war between the two countries yesterday as both exchanges ended on highs. Toronto's S&P TSX Composite Index closed up 243 points. In New York, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 160 points, and the Nasdaq was up 171 points. Asian markets also saw some gains this morning, with Japan's Nikkei index closing up 405 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong closed up 141 points, and our dollar is trading overseas this morning at 72.15 cents US. BC Premier David Eby is urging Prime Minister Mark Carney to look beyond a tariff response when it comes to the trade war with the U.S., but is still applauding his steps to stand up to President Donald Trump. Workers at Metro Vancouver's waste-to-energy plant in Burnaby have gone on strike after contract talks between Unifor and employer Veolia broke down. And New Brunswick cybersecurity firm Lastwall has raised $17.5 million in new investment to expand its operations in Canada. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm David Augustine.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on CFAX this Wednesday morning. I'm Ryan. We got Lisa on the news desk. Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
Good. Mm-hmm.
It was weird yesterday. I'm sure a lot of folks had the same experience where it's a certain point mid-morning, this sudden gasp started to go around the office as different people saw the news flash that Dolly Parton had died. Mm-hmm. It's one of those deaths that I think a lot of people were sort of shocked and saddened to hear about.
No, because she seemed to be she was right effervescent right up until the end, and we knew that she was dealing with some health problems, but Dolly never looked 80. And
No.
in my mind of what 80 is, and she never acted that either. She never acted tired. She was always effervescent, always bubbly. I mean, this is obviously the persona that she wanted us to see. But, I remarked to my coworker Steve when the news came in at 11, and it was big. We all were shocked. But the first thing I thought was she never got over Carl. She lost her husband about a year before in March of 2025. And it was a long relationship. They did not have children. They were a tight unit, and she had expanded family. But her health problems just seemed to mount after his passing. And it's testament to the bond of that relationship. But the amount of love that has poured out on social media, on media, everywhere, everyone paying honor in their own way, including the clip I just showed. We listened to a Buckingham Palace honor guard and the royals weighing in. Like, she affected everybody because she was just such a good, kind spirit. She had spunk and spark, and she was spicy at times. and talented. I watched one video of her playing in a small pub in Ireland. I don't think they even knew the song 9 to 5. Some of the people standing there were just stone-faced, or maybe they were in shock. But she was there all glitz with her nails and her hair and her rhinestones, and she just owned it with one guitarist playing for her because he happened to know that song. And her voice was pure, like beautiful voice. Didn't even need a mic. So, yeah, the tributes will roll in. It's just a sad time. And her family put a beautiful tribute to her, and making the announcement. It was all prepared as she was in her life. She was in her passing. And it's just sad because all around, whether you met or not, I think she was a really good person. We gravitate towards good people.
Yeah, Dolly Parton dying from a brief battle with cancer at the age of 80. We learned yesterday. You might know the name Eric Alper. He's a Canadian music journalist and radio host and a frequent commentator on musical goings-on. He's going to join us in just a few moments, Lisa. We'll talk to him about Dolly Parton and the legacy she leaves behind and why this one, certain
Hurts
deaths
so
hit
much.
you. Certain deaths hit you, and this one hit a lot of people yesterday. So why is that? Let's talk about that in just a few moments here. Yeah, much more to come on the show, but we'll get caught up on the news right now. 6:16. What's happening in the headlines, Lisa?
BC Premier David Eby says he's encouraging the Prime Minister to look at non-tariff measures in response to the latest escalation in the trade war. Eby applauded Carney's steps to stand up to the U.S. president after talks broke down Friday. But Eby says Ottawa's response is missing some key elements, including revisiting the planned purchase of the fighter jets from the U.S., and the shipping of American coal from a port in BC. Eby says it's important to see federal leadership in supporting affected sectors with the $7.5 billion trade relief package pledged by Ottawa. Meantime, a new Angus Reid poll finds that Canadians are experiencing a wide range of emotions as they digest this news about the trade war. 20% expressed frustration and anger over after a year and a half of tariffs, 12% feeling anxiety, fear, and uncertainty, and 7% say it's disappointment. But the data also shows Canadians across the country are preaching national unity over provincial interest. 69% say they want a Team Canada approach from their province, and this despite elevated concerns from Canadians that the trade dispute will actually hurt on a provincial level. 68% of BCers asked say they believe the trade war will be negative for this province. BC, of course, is one of the 3 provinces experiencing, or that will be at the epicenters of any job losses created by this latest round of Trump's tariffs. And 2 belugas and 4 dolphins will be moved from a shuttered theme park in Niagara Falls to an aquarium in Spain. This is Marineland's 5th whale move as it moves all of its animals off the property and closes permanently. The park is up for sale and has been saying it's running out of money and could no longer afford to care for the animals. As of today's move to Valencia, 6 belugas will remain at Marineland, which will soon head to an aquarium in the U.S. That is your news to 6:18.
Talking to local or Canadian music journalist, blogger, radio commentator Eric Alper in just a moment as we remember Dolly Parton. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Let's take a look at what's going on out there. Not much on the roads, but there will be some construction on Quadra Street. The City of Victoria is telling us today starting at 7 and then lasting until 7 p.m. It is going to affect traffic going from Broughton to Fort Street, particularly northbound traffic there. So that's again Quadra, Fort to Broughton. Watch out for lane closures as some underground work will be going on starting in about 40 minutes here. For the BC Ferries, no sailing waits. And for the weather forecast, sunny today. Not quite as warm as yesterday, but not too far off. Highs of 22, a humidex of 25, so still that mugginess. The rain, the chance of rain that we're expecting is still on the way, but maybe not until tomorrow now. Originally, we were thinking that would be coming at us kind of more overnight tonight, but now it looks like it's going to hold off until tomorrow. So a dry evening ahead. Right now, it's 13 degrees.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Remembering Dolly Parton this morning on CFAX.
Out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life.
Dolly Parton dying, we learned yesterday, after a brief battle with cancer at age 80. Here to talk about it, I've got Eric Alper. He's a music publicist, commentator. You hear him all the time. You read him all the time talking music, and he's here now to remember Dolly Parton. Eric, how you doing this morning?
I'm a little sad. I think like everybody else who kind of followed Dolly Parton's life, I guess, since every time, like Dolly Parton has kind of been in our lives from the very, very beginning, and now it kind of feels like the world is a little bit less brighter.
I was mentioning this to Lisa, who's also here earlier, just before we got you on, saying I just heard this yesterday. I was sitting in the office after my show, and I would just hear these gasps going off because people would see the news and then they would just react to it. And, not everybody's death does that, where you get a whole office of people who just suddenly stop what they're doing and react. I think this is a person, like some deaths hit you like that and hit a lot of people like that. Why do you think Dolly Parton was that for so many people yesterday?
Yeah, I think because she was so remarkably consistent with who she was, whether she was on a hit television special in the 1970s or hanging out and joking around on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson or singing with Miley Cyrus only a couple of years ago. She's essentially been the same person the whole time, warm and funny and generous and unbothered by criticism. And I think people trust that consistency, especially in a culture where celebrity personas shift so constantly. Every single musician's new album is a new era. They have to have a new hairstyle. They have to change their clothes. They have to change with the times. Dolly Parton did absolutely none of that, and she's really talked open about where she's come from with a absolute dirt poor family, living in poverty, and having that once in a chance of a lifetime to be a success, and grabbed it, and fiercely independent all the way through. So I think that she's just one of those rare cases in entertainment where we knew exactly who she was because she didn't have to fake any of it.
She had a sense of grace and vulnerability to her, though, that we seem to embrace, too. And Eric, can you speak to the universal aspect of her music? Because, she played with metal bands.
Yeah, what's amazing is that depending on how old you are, everybody has a different entry point to her, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a little bit older than maybe you or I, you might remember her in the 1960s singing with Porter Wagoner on the television and having massive hits there. If you kind of grew up with her in the 70s, then you remember I Will Always Love You and Jolene and being on those variety shows. And if you're like me, you remember her in the 80s with 9 to 5 and having all those massive hits with Kenny Rogers. And if you're a little bit younger, you know her as Miley Cyrus's godmother and singing with Paul McCartney and Elton John and Rob Halford of Judas Priest on her last album called Rockstar that she recorded in her 70s after being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, she touched on so many aspects of the industry. It's such a cliche to call people like triple threats, like a singer, dancer, and actor, actress, but she was multitude of that. She did everything that kind of encompassed all of us feeling really good about watching somebody on stage.
And she gave so much away as well.
Yeah, it's one thing to co-own Dollywood and start a theme park, because that could have been just a absolute huge profit-making center, and it was. It still has about 3 million visitors a year and became one of the most significant employers in the area. But she promised all of the teenage staffers that were in high school that if they enrolled in university and college, Dollywood would pay for it in full. And they also, of course, she launched the Imagination Library Literacy Program, founded in honor of her father, who was illiterate. And the program mailed a free book every single month to enrolled children from birth to kindergarten. And at one time, it reached about 850,000 children monthly across the U.S. and Canada. So the fact that she used her wealth in the best way possible. She gave it away to people who deserved it the most, including, actually, that we're kind of finding out fairly recently, donating millions of dollars to the COVID vaccine that was used in families that couldn't have access to it in the first place.
It's incredible, the legacy she leaves us. And she also leaves us with a Broadway musical.
Yeah, it was one thing that she was working on up until she started to get really, really sick. When Carl Dean, her husband of nearly 59 years, passed away in March of 2025, she really, really went headstrong, working through her health challenges in her final months, including being involved with that stage musical that is autobiographical, that is heading for Broadway in the next couple of months, if not maybe a year, which I have a feeling is going to be sped up by now. But yeah, she was working right up until then, and I'm sure in the next couple of months we're going to be seeing a lot of books and a lot of unreleased music from people that were close to her, that wrote songs for her, and vice versa. So I don't think that this is going to be the last that we will have heard of Dolly Parton.
Well, we're talking to Eric Alper. He is a music publicist, commentator. You see and hear his work all the time. And we're remembering Dolly Parton passing at the age of 80, and a remarkable feat to be somebody who's so beloved by everybody. It didn't matter how old you were yesterday. It seemed like you knew this person and it meant something to you, or what political side of the spectrum you were on, or all of these different things. It was, one of those people who just cut through all of that. And this texter at 71010, I'm going to leave on this, Eric. Somebody's just texted me at the station saying, "Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. A gentleman ahead of me at Thrifty's," that's a local grocery store, quietly commented that we had lost Dolly Parton yesterday, and everybody in that lineup and the one next to us started sharing our surprise at what a loss this was. In a way, it was good to be with people and share our sadness. Many thanks to that gentleman. That's from Chris, who texted that in. Yeah, there's another example of it. Just a whole grocery store full of people suddenly learning the news together and just stopping to react together. That's the kind of person that was.
We may never agree on anything ever again than how we feel about Dolly Parton.
That's a good place to leave it. Eric, great to talk to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. We'll talk soon.
All right. And thank you for that text, Chris. That's a great way to illustrate that point.
I think we all felt that collective gasp.
Yeah. We'll take a break. 6:30 news coming up next with Lisa.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. 40 years of Fringe magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation. Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 6:31 on Wednesday, August the 26th. That's going to be another sunny day today. Chance of showers now by tomorrow, sort of pushing that back a little bit. Maybe not coming this evening as we head one's forecast. I'll get you the revised forecast in just a moment, but right now the news begins. Let's turn it over to Lisa Best.
The federal government unveiling a hit back against U.S. tariffs that take effect September 8th. The details come alongside a $7.5 billion aid package for workers and businesses being affected by this trade war. CTV's Mike LeCouture has some of the latest details.
Tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum will go from 25% to 50%. Other goods seeing levies at that rate include perfumes and makeup and honey.
We're also targeting products that will target states in the U.S. And so we're being wise and strategic to put political pressure.
And government officials couldn't put a number on how these measures will impact the economy on this side of the border.
We will publish our estimate when we come to the budget. This is really about supporting Canada.
Premier David Eby says he's pleased to see support for workers impacted by the trade war announced by the federal government. He says this is especially important for this province.
It is important to see and to hear leadership at the federal level say that they are in this for as long as it takes and to do whatever it takes to support Canadian workers. We know that British Columbia, Ontario, and Quebec are disproportionately impacted as provinces that make stuff that is sold in the United States. And as a result, we're disproportionately impacted. Our workers are going to need that support.
The Premier would also like to see Canada not go forward with the purchase of the F-35 fighter jets from the U.S. He also urged BCers not to travel to the U.S. and to support Canada by buying local products. On the topic of Donald Trump, at least one Democratic governor is weighing in. He believes the president will soon reverse his trade policies targeting Canada. Here's some of what California's Gavin Newsom told CTV yesterday.
I think it's a matter of days, if not weeks, at the latest, where he completely flips on this and then tries to save face. It will be all about saving face, the ego at play here.
Newsom says he was asked whether Canadians can expect tariffs to be reversed under Democratic leadership and said, well, he can't guarantee that. He can guarantee we won't see anything like how this has been playing out. To the fire in provincial politics now. BC Conservative leader Carrie-Lynne Finlay has denied purging the party or making changes in her platform that are to blame for recent defection of legislators. Finlay has held her first news conference that happened yesterday with members of her shadow cabinet standing by, saying she hasn't fired anyone and executives either left voluntarily or moved out of the board of the party. She says the caucus has a vision for the province.
We will do this. This is our primary agenda, to protect what British Columbians already have and help them have more. A better life, a more affordable life, a job with more certainty. A job where instead of looking for EI benefits, they know where their job site is the next morning.
Finlay also criticized the Premier for missing a debriefing with the Prime Minister about the trade war. And there's a growing memorial outside a country bar, downtown country bar in Toronto, named after Dolly Parton. Fans gathered there yesterday to pay their respects after word of her death.
Very giving, community-minded. She was an icon. She was an inspiration.
I think her legacy also is just inspiring a lot of young women to follow kind of in her footsteps.
I think she just broke boundaries, right? Like she went out there and did things that men were doing in country music, and then Dolly Parton gets out there and with her sparkly outfits and she stands on stage and plays shows.
That's a good point. The lights of the Empire State Building were awash in sparkling pink last night at 9:25 to pay honor to the country music legend. That's your news to 6:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question: will you take advantage of the soon-to-be expanded BC Transit service to the Victoria International Airport? 16% saying yes. You can vote at CFAX1070.com. At Twitter X, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:37.
Thanks, Lisa. We're taking a quick look at the weather. You can expect another sunny day. Warm, but just not quite as warm as yesterday. And the chance of showers that we were expecting tonight is now holding off until tomorrow. We'll get you a full look in just a sec. Right now to the sports. The Coquitlam Adnacks defeated the Victoria Shamrocks 8-7 in Game 6 last night to win the WLA Championship Final Series 4-2. With that, the Adnacks will be the one that advanced to the Mann Cup, which will be against an undetermined opponent still yet. They haven't figured that out at the kind of Ontario side of things. But for the Victoria Shamrocks, they took it all the way to Game 6 in that 8-7 loss last night, and their season is over. Over to the tennis. Nathan Lucas, sorry, I said tennis, I meant baseball. Over to the baseball. Nathan Lucas was thrown out at second base to end the game after hitting a 2-run single as the Toronto Blue Jays fell to the Kansas City Royals 5-3. The Blue Jays slip to 2.5 games out of the wild card berth with that loss. Kansas City has won 9 straight. Blue Jays pitcher Max Scherzer says everybody has to up their game if they want to get to the postseason.
Everybody's got to play well. That's how you win ball games at the big league level. You got to pitch, got to hit, you got to play defense, bullpen, bench guys, you name it. Everybody's got to play well.
29 games left. The wild card race is heating up. And for the Seattle Mariners, they had a win. Cal Raleigh tied a team record with homers in 4 straight at-bats to carry the Seattle Mariners to a 4-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. Now to the tennis. Serena Williams and Carlos Alcaraz are out of the mixed doubles tournament of the U.S. Open after winning their debut playing together. Williams and Alcaraz got knocked out in the mixed doubles quarterfinals. It was Williams' first match back at a Grand Slam tournament in New York since 2022 as she makes a return to tennis at age 44. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports to 639. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, things are still fairly clear, although it's now taking you 23 minutes to get from the Trans-Canada Highway in Millstream area of Langford, kind of near where Costco is, into downtown Victoria. So we're starting to see some volume pick up after, when we looked about half an hour ago, it was only taking you 18 minutes to get to that drive. That's sort of the neighborhood we're picking on right now, the commute we're looking at to give us an example of how things are flowing this morning. 7 o'clock sailing at BC Ferries. Lots of room left there for vehicles and for the weather forecast. Not expecting that chance of showers to kick in until tomorrow now, so we'll see sunshine today. Clouds coming in overnight, but it looks like any kind of precipitation we see might hold off until tomorrow. For the weather temperatures, it's 22 degrees as a high today, a humidex at 25, so still warm and summery, just a little cooler than yesterday. And that's a trend we're heading into because by the weekend, the sun will come back after this little potentially rainy blip tomorrow. So Saturday sunny, looking sunny, but temperatures will only be around 19 degrees as a high by Saturday and Sunday. So slowly walking down the temperatures a bit as we head towards the weekend. And it's 13 degrees right now in Victoria. Over to the markets. We did not or have not seen any results out of the day yet, as the opening bells are just ringing for North American stock markets. S&P TSX closed yesterday up 243. The Dow was up 160. The NASDAQ was also making gains, up 171, and the Canadian dollar at 72.1 cents U.S. in overseas trading.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Now, the texter here at 71010 just weighing in on Dolly Parton, saying AI will never replace somebody like Dolly. She was a hero on many levels, an extraordinary person. That comes from Dawn.
Nice.
Thank you for texting us. You know what I was thinking about? We had Eric Elper on a few moments ago, music commentator, and he was talking about how so many people had a different in. Like there's different eras of Dolly Parton that would hit people. For me, for instance, the 9-to-5 era of the 80s was kind of when I first became conscious of Dolly Parton for me as a child. But another one I was thinking about, another weird way she showed up, and maybe for some people this was their into Dolly Parton. Did you know that she showed up on a sci-fi TV show?
Oh, no. Which one?
So you might have heard the name Seth MacFarlane. He's the guy who created Family Guy, of course. He did a show that was kind of like a Star Trek spinoff, a bit of a comedy version of Star Trek. It was called The Orville.
Okay.
Fairly recently. Like, they haven't made any new ones in a couple of years, but it's a fairly recent show.
Okay.
And in the show, so again, it's Star Trek-like, there's a race of aliens who discover the music of Dolly Parton and build a whole religion around her. Because why wouldn't you? Again, comedy
really.
Star Trek.
Why not, right?
And she does make a cameo appearance in one of the episodes as herself.
Oh.
To I guess, perform and appear in front of these aliens who worship her. But if anybody who was not necessarily up on Dolly Parton, but was a fan of the Orville TV show, there's another way you might have encountered her.
That's wild. You know, she was always a good sport about things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never known her to have. It's probably out there because it's business, but I've never heard of her having a dispute with someone in the industry or throwing shade on someone in the industry or having a problem with them. She always had a unique way of getting spicy if she didn't particularly like something. She used interesting terminologies, which takes her back to her, very humble upbringing. But she was always good to go. Like she was kind of the hold my beer kind of woman. It's like, I'll try it. I'll throw myself in that ring. Why not? Just give me my rhinestones and I'm good. And I think we appreciate that about her. That she was always just a good sport, and we've had leaders do things like that. Certain leaders do that, where you just don't expect them to be in a certain realm, and suddenly they're throwing the pitch of the ball game, or say the Pope, for example. People who you don't expect to be cool that are, who will branch out beyond their particular genre or their comfort zone and do things and actually have fun with it. And she did that so many times. And it was 9 to 5 that put her on the map. So most people do say, I remember 9 to 5. And after that, she was always sort of on my radar. It was that movie, that song, that really thrust her into that superstar realm.
So when I was a kid, it was the era of, just cable. You didn't have streaming services.
Right.
You'd stay home sick. And you had like the 4 channels or whatever. So like the only thing you could do is whatever happened to be on.
Right.
And I remember that movie, the 9 to 5 movie, would, get played on cable TV, like in the midday movie or whatever it was all the time. So you'd be sitting at home sick with your cold and your little cup of noodle soup or whatever and watching
Neocitrin.
Watching 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton as like a 10-year-old or something. So that's what I remember.
That's really cool that, you're a 10-year-old boy and you're being affected by these women in this movie, talking about women not getting equal rights.
Yeah.
It's good.
Formative Dolly Parton years there for me as a young Ryan. There you go.
Very nice. Good memory.
Hey, it's time for the news and a quick update, Lisa, before I let you take it away with the rest of the headlines. We're just hearing from a texter at 71010 that a motorcyclist seems like they've been hit at Old Island Highway and Whale Road heading in towards town. The good news is the texter says from what he can see, the motorcyclist seems okay. Sitting up at the side of the road, but there is an incident going on there, so watch out. Possible delays heading in towards town. That's again at Island Highway and Whale Road. With that said, Lisa, what else is going on?
Yeah, that intersection has had a lot of collisions in the past couple days, so just be wary of that. That's Whale at Old Island Highway. BC Conservative leader Carolyn Finlay says open nominations will be held for people to run against legislators who have left the party, and there's a few. Finlay's comments come after Rosalind Byrd, a former caucus whip, became the third Conservative this month to resign. Byrd, who will continue to represent her riding of Prince George Valemount as an independent, says political leaders should understand that words and actions have consequences, either by bringing people together or tearing them apart. Byrd's announcement says her decision came one day after the departure of Conservative Ian Patten, who quit Monday, and Peter Millibar, who left earlier this month. Now those two say they're going to form their own party. Meta is settling in its federal trial over social media addiction. Several states suing the tech giant, alleging it's designed its social media platforms, including Facebook and WhatsApp, to engage kids and get them addicted. They also claimed Meta misled users about the safety of the apps. Meta says those claims are unsubstantiated. This comes after Instagram head Adam Mosseri testified in the trial yesterday. And the U.S. president weighing in on the war with Iran, saying the country's in a very bad spot. Speaking on the Glenn Beck program, Trump said that the U.S. blockade is working and oil is flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. The president was asked about the CIA director visiting Russia yesterday. He called the trip somewhat routine, but also said something may have come up at the meeting. Trump adds he doesn't believe Iran's new Ayatollah is dead, but he thinks he's seriously wounded in various U.S. strikes. And that is your news to 648.
Coming up in just a moment, we're going to be talking about an event this weekend called The Feast of Fields. It's happening at the Heritage Acres in Saanich, featuring local chefs, growers, and artisans. What is this all about beyond that? We're going to find out more. What is Feast of Fields? That's in just a moment. We'll check traffic and weather, including this incoming report of a motorcyclist hit at Old Island Highway and Whale Road. More on that in just a moment.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50/50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. The collision we've got right now affecting traffic involves a motorcyclist down on the Island Highway at Whale Road as you head in towards Victoria. It is backing things up a little bit. We did have a texter let us know it looked like they saw the motorcyclist. The person themselves was sitting up and looked okay, so that's good news. But there still is this collision which is causing a backup again. Souk Road at Whale, or the Island Highway at Whale, however you want to sort of see that road at that point where it kind of turns from one into the other. Watch out for delays there. Otherwise, we're looking fairly good this morning. We have no waits at BC Ferries, and the weather forecast is going to be sunny again and highs of 22. Little breeze off the Juan de Fuca Strait, a bit of humidity back in the air, making it feel warmer. And then tonight, the clouds are rolling in, but the chance of showers now holds off until tomorrow. It's not going to be tonight like we originally thought. For the temperatures, it's 13 degrees right now for most of Greater Victoria. But in Colwood, it's 15 degrees already.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Celebrating some local food coming up at the Feast of Fields event, which is at the Heritage Acres in Saanich this weekend. Here to talk about a coordinator with Feast of Fields, Heather Leary, joining us on the line. Hello, how are you?
Good morning. I'm great.
Great to talk.
The weather's looking good for the weekend.
You know, actually, I was looking at that because there's that little blip of showers tomorrow, but then it clears up and you got some sunshine and actually very nice moderate temperatures for Saturday and Sunday, because it sure sounds like this is an outdoor event.
It is. It is. It's outdoors at Heritage Acres. Everyone comes and sets up, and we enjoy our local scenery as well as our local food producers.
And that's what this is. So this is local chefs coming in, cooking local stuff, drinking local stuff. Is that what this is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with local restaurants, caterers, food producers, as well as wineries, distilleries, breweries, tea makers, and we all come in and support local food, including local farmers, local growers, and then the people that make it and bring us it to our plate.
Okay, so are there any big surprises? Because sometimes I go to these things and I'm surprised at what we locally produce or locally make. Is that part of the package of what you discover? It also sounds like your local chefs making you delicious things, but are there discoveries to find?
I think that people will be surprised at the huge variety of things that you can find in your own backyard. And of course, food is on the top of everyone's mind these days, with climate change and, of course, things going on. So people will find out that you can get a huge variety of things all year round here on the island, grown on the island or grown up island, and chefs can talk to you about how you can make it. So this is an opportunity not just to taste and experience, but also to talk with the people that are experts in that field and talked about how you would maybe use some of that local product.
Oh, that's cool. And it's at Heritage Acres, as we talked about. That's like, as you go down the Pat Bay Highway, it's the big area where you see the train going by sometimes. It's
That's
in there?
Right. And most people think that Heritage Acres is that field. That field is really just the parking lot. Once you get inside Heritage Acres, there's this amazing sort of village space. It's full of historical farm equipment and tells a lot of the history of farming on the Saanich Peninsula, so that you kind of get that vibe of there's a long history of agriculture in that place, and then you can taste the things that are being grown today.
I can see why you'd want to hold it there. I mean, just a historic, the display of farm equipment and farm culture and farm history in the region. What a cool place to hold a celebration of local food.
Yeah, and it's a space that's quite accessible with being flat and things so people can get around and really enjoy all of the stuff and see what our local brewers and wineries and restaurants are doing.
Do you have to buy tickets, or can you just show up, or how does that end of it work?
Yes, you do need to buy tickets. Buying in advance is recommended. They're selling very well, and they're available at Eventbrite from Farm Folk City Folk. It's called Feast of Fields. And you can also go to our website, and you'll be able to see the huge range of people who are participating from a variety of ethnic restaurants and local restaurants. So it tells you a lot about the event.
And we've been talking about how it's happening this weekend, but what are the exact times and which day?
So it's on Sunday, August 30th, and from noon to 1 is what we call the VIP hour. It's an extra hour to come in and chat with your favorite restaurants or discover a new favorite or maybe a new favorite brewery. There's a few extra special bites in that time so that people have that sort of exclusive experience for the first hour. And then at 1 o'clock, the main feast begins, and you'll be able to experience all of it from 1 to 4.
Now,
we have live music as well, so it's all about local.
Now, the proceeds from this, so the money you're raising, is going to a charitable cause, which is the Farm Folk City Folk work. What's that?
That's right. So Farm Folk is an organization that works throughout the province, and they work to support farms, farming, and food systems to make our food system more resilient. And that's everything from seeds and seed cleaning and workshops right up to supporting farmers in the work they do and connecting chefs to farmers to get the product to the restaurants or the caterers or even to your own plate.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great thing on Sunday. Feast of Fields, if you want to check it out, can people go to a website or where do they go?
So if you go to our website, farmfolkcityfolk.ca, you'll see the link to Feast of Fields right on the top of the main homepage, or just go search Feast of Fields on Eventbrite. But be careful, there's one also in the Okanagan in September. You want to make sure you're picking the Vancouver Island one.
You don't buy tickets. Well, I mean, maybe buy tickets for the Okanagan one, but just make sure you know what you're doing.
You're welcome to. Join us there as well.
Heather Leary, coordinator of the Feast of Fields event this Sunday. Check it out if you like to eat some local food. And yeah, it is. If you've never been out there, you're right. I'm glad you pointed that out, that there's that whole other area to that Heritage Acres. It's not just that little field off the Pat Bay Highway. I went to a wedding there once. It was really cool to get in there. So it's a neat spot. Anyways,
yes, fantastic place.
Heather, great to talk to you.
Thank you.
All right, we got to take a quick break in just a moment for the 7 o'clock news, but I want to tell you what's coming. We're going to get back to what was really one of the main stories yesterday and has been a main story all this week, and that is the new tariff tit for tat that Canada and the U.S. are finding themselves in, with learning all of the counter tariffs that Canada is launching against the U.S. and also learning about the tariffs that the U.S. is escalating on Canada, which is, I mean, the whole reason we're doing the counter tariffs. We wanted to explore some specific areas. And first guest out is going to be the Vancouver Island Construction Association. How is this going to affect construction here in Canada and on Vancouver Island? That topic is coming up. We're also going to be exploring the seafood end of this. So many of these counter tariffs that Canada is launching, I think the largest by just dollar value is on seafood, or at least maybe it's by the number of items. I can't remember. By some metrics, seafood is one of the largest areas being tariffed. We're going to talk to the folks at Finest at Sea coming up a little later in the 8 o'clock hour. What about for local fishermen and seafood operations like our own Finest at Sea here in Victoria? Is this going to be a good thing for them? Are they going to see a lot of American competition priced out and local producers favored? Or is it that simple? I got a lot of questions about all this. So we're going to continue exploring this major story coming up right after the 7 o'clock news.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7 o'clock on Wednesday, August 26th. More sunshine today, slightly cooler than yesterday, but still very warm and summery. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Good morning. Canada's finance minister admitted the new U.S. levies on some Canadian goods will have real consequences for the country's companies and consumers. At a news conference yesterday in Ottawa, Francois-Philippe Champagne said the federal government's response will be proportionate and strategically targeted. Government officials stressed that Canada was not targeting any new products beyond those already hit by the U.S. president. Officials could not provide any figures on how much revenue Canada is expected to generate from the new tariffs, but said it wouldn't be more than the $7.5 billion aid package that Ottawa has also announced for beleaguered companies and consumers. Meantime, California's Governor Gavin Newsom weighing in, telling CTV he believes Donald Trump is days or weeks away from reversing his tariffs and trade policies aimed at us. He says he thinks if Canadians can expect the tariffs won't be any part of democratically led White House.
This is not an industrial policy, what Trump's doing across the board on hockey sticks and everything else. This is a tantrum. And I think it's important that be reinforced. And so I can't guarantee that, but I can guarantee you nothing like this.
Newsom has said that he would be lying if he said he isn't considering making a run for president himself in 2028, saying he will decide after the midterms in November. Premier David Eby weighing in, he used the liquor store as a backdrop on the mainland for comments about the trade war. He pointed to the success of the U.S. liquor ban in getting the attention of American political leaders. He also used the opportunity to encourage another Buy Canada movement.
We've seen another attack from the United States. And again, I'm asking British Columbians, if you have a choice, please don't travel to the United States. Choose another place to do your tourism. If you can choose a Canadian product instead of an American one, please choose it. Right now, Canadian workers from coast to coast to coast need our support.
Eby says he's pleased for the most part with the counter tariffs and supports for workers announced by Ottawa yesterday. Another day of defection from the BC Conservatives yesterday. It was Prince George Valemount MLA Rosalind Bird, the latest to announce her intentions to fly the coop. Bird plans to sit as an independent in the BC legislature moving forward. She says BCers are tired of political infighting, name-calling and division. But she adds she will support initiatives that are right for her riding and oppose those that are not. Police here on Vancouver Island playing a key role in the capture over the weekend of a man wanted for sexual exploitation of a child in Hawaii. Ucluelet RCMP receiving notification to be on the lookout for a suspect who was wanted by the FBI for lewd contact with a minor, 3 counts, and a sexual battery of a minor. The Vancouver Island District General Investigations Section, as well as West Coast Marine, Ucluelet RCMP, and the Island District Emergency Response Team found a vessel arresting a 60-year-old man, Donald Lang, without incident. U.S. authorities say the dual Canadian-American yachtsman who sails around the world allegedly produced sexual explicit images of a minor between September and December of 24 aboard his sailboat that frequently harbored in Hawaii. The indictment was filed in U.S. District Court in Honolulu on August 20th. Late Dolly Parton exploding the sexist stereotype that a woman in the music business can't be both beautiful and smart. Shiny, too, for that matter. ABC's Chris Connolly with more on the late superstar's far-reaching musical influence.
She took her country stardom and she turned it into pop stardom without losing the loyalty of Nashville. Did that blaze a trail for someone like Shania Twain or Reba McEntire, for Casey Musgraves, or even the great Taylor Swift? I'd say maybe indeed she did. She also was a source of strength and encouragement for singers who were great as she was, people like Linda Ronstadt and Emmylou Harris and Alison Krauss, all of whom covered Dolly Parton songs, and of course for her goddaughter Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, ABC's Hannah Batta has a closer look now at Dolly, the humanitarian.
When disaster struck, Dolly showed up. After wildfires devastated Tennessee, she pledged millions to help families recover. Years later, she stepped in after Hurricane Helene. And during the pandemic, she donated $1 million to help fund COVID vaccine research.
Dolly Parton, also a big philanthropist when it comes to literacy, founding her Imagination Library to promote children's literacy. Dolly said it was because her father never could read. And that is your news to 7:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. Got bus transit coming up to the airport. It's expanding the BC Transit service to the Victoria International Airport. Will you be taking advantage of that? 16% say yes. You can vote now at cfax1070.com. Also on the iHeartRadio app. Then Lisa, best your news time is 7:07.
Thank you, Lisa. Just a reminder quickly of a traffic incident. We're tracking a motorcyclist struck or down some way. We don't know the exact details, but this is on the Island Highway or kind of Souk Road heading in towards Victoria at Whale Road. So watch out for a delay there as we clear through that situation. But if you're hitting that slowdown on Souk Road coming in towards kind of Colwood Corners, that's what's happening. It's up at Whale Road with a cyclist situation or a motorcyclist situation. Over to CFAX 1070 Sports. It's the end of the road for the Victoria Shamrocks, who were defeated by the Coquitlam Adanacs last night, 8-7. It was Game 6 of the WLA Final Series, and with the win last night, the Coquitlam Adanacs take the series 4-2. So they will advance to represent the WLA against the MSL, the Major Series Lacrosse in the East, for the National Man Cup. Over to baseball, where for the Toronto Blue Jays, they picked up a loss yesterday. So it's still not the end of the road, but, you know, they got to get as many wins as they can to try to keep their postseason alive. Toronto Blue Jays dropping a 5-3 decision to Kansas City in the opener of opening up a 3-game series. Nathan Lucas was thrown out at second base to end the game after hitting a 2-run single, and Blue Jays manager John Schneider says patience can be a good play in a situation like that.
Yeah, I mean, he hit the ball well. You know, good job of cutting it off and getting into Bobby quickly. I think, you know, you always make a decision off the bat, and then you have to make another one kind of once you're around it, especially when the play's in front of you. So everything kind of gets magnified when you're not scoring, and then you get a little bit over anxious, I think, when you're trying to make something happen.
So with that, the Blue Jays slipped to 2.5 games out of a wild card berth, but they've got another one coming up tonight. The Seattle Mariners with a win, though. Cal Raleigh tying a team record with homers in 4 straight at-bats to carry the Seattle Mariners to a 4-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. And that's your CFAX Sports to 7:09. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Right now, through August 26th, receive 1,000 Scene Plus points for every $200 Smile card you purchase at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, motorcyclists down on the Island Highway at Whale Road, and it is affecting things heading in towards Victoria. So we're starting to see the backup extend past Colwood Corners. It's really once you start getting around the entrance to Royal Roads University, that's where you are starting to hit a slowdown. And if you're wondering what it is, motorcyclist incident at Whale Road further up the way. Texter had let us know earlier that it seemed the motorcyclist was up and sitting, so seemed to be all right. That was the good news there. That's the only real blip as far as crashes or other problems. The other thing to mention is some construction work on Quadra. So right downtown Victoria, Quadra Street between Fort and Broughton, a northbound lane closure for underground work, which also affects the bike lane. So you got to dismount and walk your bike there. Or if you are driving, watch out for just a lane closure, and flaggers and crews will be there to guide you around it. For the weather forecast, the chance of showers that was expected to come tonight might not arrive now until tomorrow. Although I was just looking out the window, and if you watch us on YouTube or CTV Vancouver Island or Crave, or if you're watching the video of the show, looking at the harbor cams, you do see the big black clouds kind of circling us. They're just not over Victoria. They're just sort of surrounding us. We got blue sky up above and these dark storm clouds around. So it looks like they won't maybe come in until tomorrow now.
It's kind of cool looking, actually.
It is kind of neat because,
Ominous.
the sunshine, but then the big dark cloud just on the horizon.
Makes for great painting.
It would, actually.
I mean, this whole area is a big painting, let's face it.
Yeah, it's never not a bad day to paint Victoria. High at 22 expected, humidex at 25, and right now it's 13 degrees in Victoria. At the airport, at least, that's the official temperature, but downtown it's a little warmer at 15. Getting our first look at the numbers for North American stock markets. S&P TSX starting up 89 points to 37,046. Again, just shrugging the shoulders at the trade war. Go the investors. Dow Jones up 15 to 53,592. The Nasdaq is up 16 to 26,167. Canadian dollar at 72.1 cents US.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Lisa, it was kind of a wild ride yesterday because during the show, while we were on air, it's when Canada and the finance minister with a team of MPs and other cabinet ministers announced what we would be counter-tariffing. Mm-hmm. And the list was extensive, so we're trying to get through it on air. One of the things that caught my eye in the moment was smartphones. The idea that smartphones would be amongst Canada's counter-tariff items.
That was a big topic of discussion.
Yeah, and I remember you and I musing, what does that actually mean? Because none of those things actually get built in the United States. Right. The companies are all headquartered there. You know, Apple and all these companies. Mm-hmm. I guess I shouldn't say all these companies because, you know, Samsung.
There are some.
Is obviously LG. These are all cell phone makers that are from Asia. So my thought was what cell phones would actually be affected by this, or how would this work? Mm-hmm. So good news for me. We've got Alan Perry, host of Tech Talk, who knows how all this stuff works, and he spoke to Josh and Jade yesterday on that specific topic. So here was his answer when asked about will we actually notice smartphones in Canada being tariffed because of this.
Are prices going to go up this fall? Yes. Are they going to go up because of this? Happy to report, no.
Okay.
Virtually, if not 100%, 90. I couldn't find a single manufacturer of phones in the USA. The closest I could find was the Trump phone, ironically, which is supposedly assembled in the USA, made from Chinese components. But no, all the other phones come in directly from Apple, from Samsung, from the brands. They come in directly from the factories in China, mostly Shenzhen, but some in other countries, India, some in Malaysia. So happy to report there will be no impact on that. It makes a nice headline.
Yeah.
But no.
So unless you're buying the Trump phone,
right,
you're okay.
You're funny.
Sorry, did I put too much emphasis on that word?
I don't know. I felt my stomach kind of lurch on that one. Yeah, there's a lot of things, and we have a lot of people asking, and we're seeing your text from 71010 about specific things, and we're trying to get some answers because the devil is in the details. Everybody wants to know, and understandably why, how does this affect my life? From clothing to electronics to can I buy a fridge or can I buy a mixer, or is it going to be more expensive in 2 weeks' time? Should I rush out and then buy these things in advance? People think, well, okay, we're 4 months to Christmas. It's however it affects your life personally. Makeup, for example, clothing. Kids back to school. These are things that people are purchasing, that families are purchasing right now. So in 2 weeks' time, how are these things going to change for us? And of course, with Trump's tariffs already in place, we're already going to feel that shift in some areas. And it has been happening since he took office. It was one of the first things that he shot across our bow, is that we're just going to go after you economically. And here we are. We're full into the war. So, are things going to change? Yeah. I think, as Alan said, post-pandemic, everything went up in price anyway.
That's true. Did you know how he specified? Things are still going to get more expensive, but at least it won't be because of these tariffs. That's a good point. We're not getting cheaper, generally speaking. Hey, what about construction-related products that will be covered by this? We got the Vancouver Island Construction Association joining us in just a moment to see what kind of effects we might see there. That story continued to be explored right here on CFAX, but it's time for the headlines out of the newsroom. So, Lisa, let's let's let you take it away. What else is going on in the world?
Hot and dry conditions across BC, and we're being warned to be careful with any fire products. Crews are strategically placed to respond to any new starts from any lightning strikes we may have, because there is bad weather in the forecast in some areas. That wildfire in BC's Fraser Canyon continues to burn out of control, but is no longer considered a fire of note, leaving 3 remaining in the province. The BC Wildfire Service says the change is due to the reduced threat of the Brunswick Creek blaze spreading and downgrading the evacuation orders. Still, the service says crews are continuing to work to suppress the blaze on the west side of the Fraser Canyon, about 200 kilometers northeast of Vancouver. The Australian Incident Commander for the Brunswick and Ainslie Creek fires says those fires span nearly 770 square kilometers at this point, so huge fires. There are currently 165 fires burning in the province. 64 are deemed out of control. 61 starts in the last day. 28 fires on Vancouver, make that 19 fires on Vancouver Island. And there are 5 fires of note on Vancouver Island, 5 that are considered out of control. BC's Privacy Commissioner says his office is investigating the province's decision to remove its public government employee directory over cybersecurity and privacy concerns. A statement from the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner says its team began looking at the issue when public access to the government directory was removed on August 18th. Michael Harvey says cybersecurity threats are real and must be taken seriously, but removing public access to the directory without a functional replacement is a serious transparency issue, contributing to the erosion in public trust. Premier David Eby says the province removed the list for security risks after it was identified by police and officials to work with the Privacy Commission. Stars continue to pay tribute to Dolly Parton, who we lost yesterday at the age of 80 after a short battle with cancer. She died in hospital in Nashville. In a social media post, singer-songwriter and Beatles legend Paul McCartney acknowledged her singing and philanthropy, which he called, quote, unrivaled in the world of country music. Actress and activist Jane Fonda said her 9-to-5 co-star could be naughty and playful, but also a deep soul thinker who could see through people. Meanwhile, singer Kelly Clarkson acknowledged in her own social media post Parton's ability to make everyone feel special, seen, and welcome. That was a big part of her charm. That is your news to 719.
Exploring what items might be getting more expensive in Canada if we go ahead with the counter tariffs announced yesterday. What about construction-related products? We're going to be talking to the Vancouver Island Construction Association about that very question next. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. The roads still a little backed up on the Island Highway, sort of heading in towards Victoria from Whale Road back. That is where a motorcyclist incident took place a little earlier this morning. It's still tying up traffic, so that's a big delay there. Backed up all the way to about the entrance to the Royal Roads University. So that's where you start to see the slowdown. But the actual incident itself is Island Highway at Whale Road involving a motorcyclist. If you see an update, let me know at 7:10:10. The rest of the commute's looking pretty typical, and no sailing weights at BC Ferries. For the weather forecast, it's sunny today, highs at 22, a humidex at 25, so a little muggy again today. Increasing clouds this evening, lows of 13, but no showers until maybe tomorrow. That forecast of them arriving tonight, now being pushed back a little bit, could be tomorrow. We see a small chance of showers around Greater Victoria.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Yeah, we're trying to sort out what imports from the United States are about to get more expensive after Labor Day if our counter tariffs go ahead. You know, who knows? Maybe there's some off-ramp we can find as Canada and the U.S. before then. But anyways, as we explore this, our local construction industry will not be immune to these changes. For example, some luminaries and lightings, wood products, some tools and radiators seem to be covered by the 25% markup if they're imported from America under our counter tariffs. Amid all this, the Vancouver Island Construction Association CEO, Rory Kumala, is joining us and talking about how this is going to affect everything. So let's get him up on the line. Rory Kumala, CEO, Vancouver Island Construction Association. Great to talk to you.
Good morning, Ryan.
So I guess, first off, I think a lot of people are wondering what's going to cost more. And for construction-related products and for people, you know, building the houses and buildings around town here, what's the situation for you?
Well, you know, we've kind of been tracking this as much as anybody, and certainly the actions like this remind us how vulnerable our economy can be to decisions that are made beyond our border. But with your introduction about how products are affected, inevitably this will affect costs. It can't not. But we have to remind ourselves that in construction, particularly at the domestic market, we have a lot of the materials we use in our markets we produce in Canada. And I'm thinking of wood products. They're going to tariff. There are tariffs imposed on our wood products coming in, but we use a lot of our framing materials, our sheeting, our plywoods, even drywall is made in Canada. It's domestically. So hopefully we can pivot some of the supply that may not be going to the States or may be slowing down in the States and using it here in Canada. Similarly with steel, a lot of our raw steel is made here. I hope to see that we can increase the production around structural steel, and we do make that in Canada. There is a supply and abundance of it here in Canada that we can hopefully optimize.
Yeah, one of the big challenges we have as Canada, which has come up a lot over the course of our trade spat with the U.S., sometimes it's just easier for Canadians to trade with the states to the south because the distances and the costs and the complications of importing products is sometimes a lot easier just to, if you're BC, to go south to Washington State or California rather than go all the way to Ontario. But maybe once you throw up tariffs and the costs calculations change, are there more Canadian products we can turn to? It sounds like yes from what you're saying.
Well, I think there's opportunity for it. Clearly, there's an ability for us to improve production when it comes to construction materials. You talk about the distance that we have. I know that a lot of companies would prefer to buy out west, particularly with structural steel. It's expensive to move material across our vast country. That said, we spent decades refining our distribution and our economy to provide the best value, particularly around construction. And if we tie this to housing costs are going up. We're always trying to find ways to buy materials cheaper, to produce materials cheaper. And that's created this trade conundrum we're in, where we produce raw materials here, it goes to the States to get manufactured, it comes back, it gets integrated into our construction. That's going to take a long time to undo. So when we talk about costs, yes, there are impacts right now. A lot of our companies and the contractors and our membership that are doing programs now, they paid and bought materials yesterday. And so, or last week, or, they priced it a month ago. There's going to be some stress in that if they can't keep those prices. And ultimately, the costs are going to be passed on to the owner.
And is it all construction? Are we talking everything from your single-family home all the way up to a 20-story office tower? Or, are there certain areas that are affected more, or is this just everything?
I would say the raw materials or the framing, wood products, sheathing materials, dare I'd say drywall. We do have capacity. Iron is, steel is relatively available in Canada. Where you'll see those impacts will be on things like equipment, fitted equipment, toilets. The U.S. does a lot of products around lighting. They do have the manufacturing capacity and the capabilities in the States. So it's not so much in, you can frame up a building, but when you start fitting it out, that's where you'll start seeing increase in prices.
We're talking to the Vancouver Island Construction Association. Rory Kumala is their CEO. He's on the line with us right now, reacting to all of the counter tariffs that we've been learning about that Canada will apply to the U.S. Of course, the U.S. has already threatened tariffs and in some cases instituted a lot of tariffs on Canadian products. And what does it all mean? Well, it does mean costs go up for both sides of the border, including things like construction. Thank you so much for walking us through sort of how this goes for your industry. Anything else you wanted to add or anything else you wanted to make sure we understood about this?
I think we just have to, kind of hanker down and, realize that Canada's always been a great trading partner and, but I think we have to stand up for ourselves. So I think this is going to be some short-term pain, but ultimately we'll be in a better position as we come out of this.
Well, thanks for the chat today and good luck.
Thank you very much.
7:30 News next with Lisa Best.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50/50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660. CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:30 on Wednesday, August the 26th. Hey, still got some residual backup after a motorcycle incident on the Island Highway at Whale Road heading in towards Victoria. It looks like it might be clearing up. If you see it, let me know at 7:10. I'd love an update from the scene. Looks like it's clearing up. However, a backup still there after an earlier motorcycle incident, Island Highway and Whale Road. Right now, let's get to the news. Here's Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. BC Wildfire Update has 165 fires burning the province, 64 considered out of control. There's been 61 new starts in the last 24 hours, 19 fires burning on Vancouver Island, including 5 considered out of control. Most of those are in wilderness areas, not threatening any communities. Most of the southerly small fires that are still a fraction of a hectare in size here on the island, but they're east of Port Renfrew, one out of control, another being held. Premier David Eby urges everyone to be cautious because little rain is in the forecast and there's some sketchy weather too.
We're going into a dry, warm, windy set of weather ahead, and there are increasing risks again of wildfires. So just asking British Columbians to please be careful out there, especially in the backcountry, and report those fires as soon as you see them. The Wildfire Service has been doing excellent work in knocking them down, but they have to know about them.
There are now 3 wildfires in note across the province, all of those based in the interior, mostly in the Okanagan. Fire and provincial politics, another BC Conservative legislator throwing in the towel, quitting the opposition caucus. Rosalind Byrd made the announcement yesterday. She becomes the 3rd this month and 2nd in as many days to exit the party, headed by new leader Carrie Lynn Finlay. She says she'll continue to represent Prince George Vailmont as an independent, and that she has a responsibility to reject hatred and discrimination. Finlay says the departures have opened up opportunities for others in the Conservative caucus.
They've made a choice. But what that choice has done has actually opened up amazing opportunities for leadership within our caucus.
Byrd says she'll sit independent while her affiliation may be changing her responsibility. She says her riding to responsibility certainly has not. The U.S. president's trade war with Canada intensifying as we retaliate against U.S. tariffs on up to 50% of hundreds to 800 American products. This starts on September 8th. ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott has the latest from Washington's side.
Canadian leaders have called the president a dictator. They're calling him a bully. President Trump responded by saying he wants to rename the Lake of Ontario to the Lake of America, something that he cannot force other nations to recognize. The reality for so many Americans across the country is this. A new report shows that with all the president's tariffs that he's imposed, American families are paying more than $1,000 a year.
BC Premier David Eby is encouraging the Prime Minister to look at non-tariff measures in response to the latest escalation in this trade war. In the midst of a trial pitting dozens of states against social media giant Meta, a settlement has been reached.
Under the agreement struck this morning, Meta will be forced to make changes to Instagram and Facebook, modifying features that 51 attorneys general had argued were designed to addict young people to those social media platforms. Among the changes, a daily 2-hour limit for users under 18 that can be lifted only by a parent. The settlement still needs court approval.
Every dog has its day. In this case, it would be today.
Since we're in the dog days of summer, it's only fitting that today is National Dog Day. It was created back in 2004 to raise awareness about the massive number of dogs in shelters that need adoption. And it's where we first heard the phrase, adopt, don't shop, urging people to think twice before buying puppies at pet stores. National Dog Day also recognizes the contributions that service dogs make to keep people safe. I'm Daria Albinger.
I don't know why the cats are in there, but nonetheless. In entertainment news, of course, fans mourning the passing of Dolly Parton. Even the royal ones are weighing in. The royal family has posted video of the Honor Guard at Buckingham Palace, bright red military uniforms and bearskin hats, performing their version of 9 to 5. Fans will have a chance to celebrate Dolly Parton's life later this year when her Broadway musical opens in New York City. Dolly, the true original musical, will begin preview performances on December 7th. It tells the story of her life in her own words and through her own songs. Among the hits that will be featured in the musical, I'll Always Love You, Jolene, and 9 to 5. We'll also have new songs that Dolly Parton wrote for the show, with Dolly recently saying she'd worked on as many as 14 new songs before narrowing it down. And that's your news to 7:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. Will you be taking advantage of the soon expanding BC Transit service that will take you to the Victoria International Airport? 15% say yes. You can vote now at cfax1070.com. Also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 7:38.
Thank you, Lisa. We've got an update real quick on that motorcycle-involved collision on the Island Highway at Whale Road. We were hearing that it was clearing up, and now I got a texter here at 71010 who says that the police are still present at Whale Road, but everything is off the road and under control. So I think traffic is starting to move okay, even though they're still dealing with it off to the side. Okay. So there's the update from the scene. And we're talking about cell phones.
Yes.
We had Alan Perry, host of Tech Talk here on CFAX 1070, who let us know that most of the smartphones we get in Canada come directly from manufacturers in Asia. Even if they're an American company like Apple, they build them in China and then ship them over here. So when we have that tariff that Canada has announced on smartphones, what will it actually affect? And actually, oddly enough, I had a texter here at 71010, just wanted to talk about that. Texter saying, so how many cell phones do we import from the USA last year? And then I responded.
Okay.
I texted back saying, well, Alan Perry told us it's mostly from Asia.
Right.
So the texter says, exactly, so why put that on the list at all? And my speculation is that there is one smartphone that is partially made in the U.S., and that is the Trump phone. So maybe that's why. Maybe
the thing is, Donald Trump has been pushing for companies like Apple to build only in the U.S.
Yeah.
So if you can bring it back to home shores,
that's true.
Then you can charge more tariffs.
Maybe that's a shot at that. Yeah, who knows? But anyways, thanks for the texture. That's one of the items that I also was really interested in when I heard that show up on our counter tariff list. Let's get to the CFAX 1070 sports. So, with the Victoria Shamrocks losing last night 8-7 to the Coquitlam Adnacks in Game 6 of the Western Lacrosse Association Championship Series, it sadly means the end. That was a do-or-die night, and for the Shamrocks, it's over. 4-2 is the series win for the Coquitlam Adnacks. They win it 4-2. The Adnacks will advance to the Mann Cup. Opponent undecided yet. They're still working it out on the eastern side of things at the major series lacrosse level. So for the Victoria Shamrocks, it's the end of the road, but congrats, team, for making it all the way to Game 6 of the WLA Final. In baseball, Nathan Lucas was thrown out at second base to end the game after hitting a two-run single as the Toronto Blue Jays fell to the Kansas City Royals 5-3. The Blue Jays slipped to 2.5 games out of a wild card berth with that loss. And Blue Jays pitcher Max Scherzer after the game saying everybody's got to up their game now to get to the postseason.
Everybody's got to play well. That's how you win ball games at the big league level. You got to pitch, got to hit, you got to play defense, bullpen, bench guys, you name it. Everybody's got to play well. 29 games left and the wild card race heating up. For the Seattle Mariners, it was a win for them. They defeated the Philadelphia Phillies 4-1. And in tennis, Serena Williams and Carlos Alcaraz are out of the mixed doubles tournament at the U.S. Open after winning their debut together. They were knocked out of the mixed doubles quarterfinals. It was Williams' first match back at a Grand Slam tournament in New York since 2022 as she makes her return to tennis at age 44. That's your CFAX Sports to 740. $7:41 now. Morning show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort. South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. To the roads, as we've been hearing from our
Texters at 71010, the motorcycle incident at Island Highway, Whale Road. It's still active. Police are still there, but it's off to the side of the road at least, and traffic is starting to resume to normal. So if you're still hitting that residual backup, it is improving, and the incident is cleared off the road. For the construction downtown, I got a new one today. This is on Quadra, Broughton to Fort Street. So it's that little block right kind of around where the old YMCA building is. It's right in front of there. Northbound closure for some underground repair work. It's also affecting the bike lane that's there, so you got to dismount your bike and get around it. Over to the weather forecast. The chance of showers we're expecting to come in tonight is now being pushed off to tomorrow. It looks like we'll stay dry through the day and the evening. So sunny today, highs at 22. Humidex at 25, so that humidity back in the air. Increasing clouds overnight, leading us eventually to that chance of showers, but now not till sometime tomorrow morning and into the early afternoon is where we'll get the chance of some precipitation. Overnight lows of 13, I should say. The cloudy for Friday before we clear up into the weekend, and it's looking sunny and great for Saturday, Sunday, but a little cooler. Temperatures only up to about 19 degrees for Saturday and Sunday. Right now, at the Victoria International Airport, it's 14 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX up 95 points this hour to 37,053. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 98 to 53,490. Make that 53,479. The Nasdaq is down 85 to 26,066, and the Canadian dollar at 72 cents even, which is down a bit from yesterday's close.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
I find it hard to believe how big the jackpot has gotten for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50. Right now, at this very second, $38,695, Lisa.
Yes, and we'd like to hit at least 40.
That'd be cool.
50 if we can do it.
Because there's not much time. So today's Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday.
All day.
Tomorrow is Thursday. And it's Thursday tomorrow at 5 p.m. The ticket sales are cut off. So you have, a little over 24 hours to get a ticket if you haven't got one already. A single ticket for $10, 5-pack for $25, 20-pack for $50 is 50-50 raffle. They get cheaper if you buy more of them.
Yeah.
And we, right now, if we were to call this thing now and draw a ticket and announce a winning ticket, you'd almost have $20,000.
Yeah, that's the beauty of 50-50.
Crazy.
You're giving to yourself and the community.
I can't believe it.
It's a win-win.
When we first started selling these tickets, the 50-50 raffle, back at the beginning of summer, remember the first week, we ended the week and we had a couple $100.
Yeah, we were like,
woo, a couple $100.
It was summer, and everybody took a while to sort of, clink into this. But everybody's back now. We're getting into back to school mode, back to work mode. Fall's here. And boy, what were you talking? $20,000 buys you a lot of pumpkin spice.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Had to.
You sent me a text message yesterday, Lisa, about...
I wanted to watch Ryan Trigger.
Yeah, I think you do it on purpose sometimes. You're just sitting at home and you're like, I know what's going to make Ryan really, really... You said that the
Make
pumpkin...
him get off the couch.
The pumpkin spice is already being advertised at, was it Starbucks? Is that what you sent me?
They actually had it embargoed. It was kind of cute.
It's August.
This is embargoed information. We can't release this until what? Till we smell it in the air?
Yeah. They've announced the coming of the pumpkin spices. Now, wait until September at least, guys.
It's almost plaid season. But $20,000 buys you a lot of plaid.
That's true. And that's the thing. You can if you win, you can spend your $20,000 or whatever you want. But if the other half of the money is, of course, going to charity, going to CFAX, Santa's Anonymous, and the Kids Count program. And there's so many ways that money is going to go to help in our community. And we're going to meet somebody who will benefit in just a few moments. The operations manager for the Saanich Peninsula Lions. They are folks who are helping with the food end of this, the food security end of this picture. So we're going to be talking to their operations manager next as a demonstration of where does this money go? Because even if you don't win the jackpot, you're still winning because you're helping folks like our next guest. So let's get to that in just a moment. 7:45, though, over to the headlines with Lisa.
Trying to keep track of what's happening in the BC Conservative camp, where we have breaking news that Teresa Watt has quit and now will sit as an independent, saying she can no longer serve under leader Carrie Lynn Finley. Watt says Finlay failed to apologize over serious and unfounded accusations Finlay reportedly made about her that questioned her allegiance to Canada. She says were distrustful and hurtful. Watt is the third MLA to exit the official opposition in as many days. Yesterday, it was Rosalind Byrd, a former caucus whip, who became the third Conservative this month to resign from the party. Leader Finlay says open nominations will be held to find people to run against legislators who have left the party moving forward. Summer cruising remains in high gear. More than 26,000 cruise passengers will walk the pier at Ogden Point Terminal over a 72-hour period this weekend. On Friday, the Norwegian Bliss, Eurodam, and Royal Princess will bring over 9,900 tourists to town. Saturday, nearly 8,300 passengers will disembark from the Star Princess and Norwegian Encore, and close to 8,000 will arrive Sunday on the Anthem of the Seas and MSC Poesia. And on the wildfire status, we have 165 wildfires burning in this province, 64 of those considered out of control. There's been 61 new starts in the last 24 hours. We have 19 fires burning on Vancouver Island, and 5 of those are considered out of control. They're all in the mid to northern parts, north of Campbell River, and they're all in wilderness areas. The firesmoke.ca website showing smoke levels from fires on the BC mainland and through Washington State, Oregon, will be pretty much non-existent across our region for the next 36 hours. So as long as the skies are clear, you can expect blue skies moving forward, at least for the next day and a half. That is your news to 7:48.
CFAX 1070 texter at 71010 says, the pumpkin spice international delight is already starting to be on the shelves. No.
It's too soon for Ryan. It's too soon for me, too, even though I love the pumpkin spice.
Although I was musing that fall is occasionally in the air.
You started it.
I did start
Last
that.
week, you said it was cold overnight.
When I wake up in the morning, it's got that crispness, that kind of fall feeling in the air.
You're tempting it.
Another texter, I think the cell phone thing is really interesting. Another texter says, cell phones may be made in Asia, but the product is American and subject to a tariff. No, but see, texter, I think maybe you're right. I could be totally wrong, but everything I'm hearing, including from our own Tech Talk host, Alan Perry, is that it's not so much if it's owned by the states, but kind of like where does it come from? So if it's delivered to us directly from, say, China, it's okay. If it goes to the states first and they put it in a box or something and then ship it up to Canada, then it would be covered. So you're right, texter, that there will be cases where yes, but my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong, from all of the sources I'm reading and hearing from, is that if it comes directly into Canada from Asia, it's fine. It's not tariffed.
Right. And it also comes down to the components, too. We can piecemeal it out. It's like if a lot of the components were made in the U.S. for some reason, shipped to Asia, and then sent over, we could be tariffed on that possibly, too.
Yeah.
So the devil's in the details, but of course, everybody wants to know at once, is it cell phones? Is it makeup? Is it clothing? To what extent are we going? And it is a knee-jerk reaction. We all feel it as consumers. It's like, how much more am I going to be paying exactly here? Because life is expensive enough. So we get it. So more to come. We're talk to the experts.
Yeah, we're still unwinding it all. And we're going to talk about the seafood angle because that's a big one.
Correct.
We're going to talk to the Finest Sea Folks, local company selling fish, catching fish right here in Victoria. We're going to find out what all the seafood end of the counter tariffs will mean for the local scene. So that's coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. But right now, as mentioned, the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50 continues. We've only got one more day or so of sales. We'll do the draw at 7 o'clock, by the way. Just after your news at 7, Lisa, on Friday, we are going to draw the winner right here live on the radio, and we will find out who's the big winner.
Okay.
So you want to be there. It's going to be really exciting because we got, like we said, almost 20 grand will be what's going to the winner. Another 20 grand going to CFAX Santa's Anonymous to help out with things like what we're going to talk about next. CFAX Santa's Anonymous launched its Breakfast Foods funding initiative in the summer of 2025 to help food banks handle the added demand that can come when kids are out of school. So over those summer months, when kids don't have access to the school food programs. One of the recipients of this, making this happen, is the Saanich Peninsula Lions, and they're joining us next.
from CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. 40 years of Fringe magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Right now through August 26th, receive 1,000 Scene Plus points for every $200 Smile card you purchase at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, we're starting to see traffic return to normal on the Island Highway near Whale Road after an earlier collision. It's still a little slow, like it's not completely done, and I think some people are kind of looking off to the side of the road where police are still dealing with the situation, but it is off the road and things are returning to normal there. No other issues for crashes right now. If you see anything, you can text us at 71010. For the weather today, mostly sunny, some clouds coming in tonight, and then a chance of showers coming in now tomorrow. We've kind of pushed that back a little bit in the forecast. Doesn't last after tomorrow. It's back to, well, clouds on Friday and then some sunshine on the weekend. Right now, it is 14 degrees, eventually hitting a high of 22 today, but feeling like 25 in the humidity.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Let's find out how this money will be spent. So that 50-50 raffle we got going on, the Mega Summer 50-50, as we've been saying, half goes to the winner, half goes to CFAX Santa's Anonymous and the Kids Count program, helping children beyond Christmas. What does that mean? Well, what about when kids are out of school? It's summer break like it is right now, and those families in need don't have the school food programs to help out with the family budget and with the family pantry. That's where we're stepping in. One of the ways that money is being spent. And the Saanich Peninsula Lions are one of the partners here. Operations Manager Tyson Elder joining us on the line right now. Tyson, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I'm actually really excited because we're doing the draw on Friday, and so we still could sell more tickets before then. And we're almost up to, it's almost 40 grand. And that means...
Holy.
Which is, I was saying when we started this thing at the beginning of summer, we had no idea where this would go. And we sold like a few $100s of tickets in the first week or two. And we're like, oh, it's not bad. This is great. But now that it's up to almost 40 grand, it's remarkable to think of what all this money can do. That the half that's going to charity, to CFAX Santa's Anonymous, and to operations like yours. I know ultimately we've provided $60,000 to 3 local food banks to support providing these kind of breakfast foods through the July and August summer period. And you're one of the partners in all of this. I'd love to hear about how you spend this money and the kind of, help you're able to give.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful, it was a surprise when Christine showed up with that check at the beginning of the summer and said, this is to help out kids for the summer. And we've been able to purchase a lot of things that we wouldn't normally be able to get during the summer because of that money. We've gotten school snacks, granola bars, apple sauces, juice boxes, all the sort of things that kids need throughout the summer. I know for our food bank and a lot of food banks, the summer is actually one of our busiest times of the year. Everybody thinks Christmas, but like it's the summertime when kids are at home and eating you out of house and home. So parents need that extra help, and we're happy to help in ways we can when we get all this great school snacks.
So you're out on the peninsula dealing with that area. What's the demand like for you?
Well, I can say August has been one of our busiest months. It kind of took us by surprise. Usually September, when kids go right back to school, is usually our busiest month. But this has been a busy month, and a lot of families are just thankful we're here to help them get through the tough times. I know it's not an easy time for everybody right now, and we're just here to help, and we're happy to do it. So.
Tyson, I know this is maybe an obvious question to some, but from your perspective, because you sort of have a bird's eye view, what has changed? What's bringing more people in the door?
Well, I mean, the obvious one is inflation. I mean, the last couple of weeks with the tariff talks has definitely got people a little scared. But just like housing costs, food costs, everything has just gone up. And, we're seeing a lot of people who are working who are trying to get through, but they just need that extra little bit of help, and that's again what we're here for. And it's just people are struggling to get by. Everything's just that little bit more every month.
Now, one of the big targets here is breakfast foods, and try to keep it nutritious as well. What kind of foods do people get when they are supported with this program?
Yeah, so we've been very lucky. We've purchased a lot of cereals, hot cereals, fruit, veggies, all of those sort of great things, as well as some great local companies have helped us out with some new and interesting products. Baby's Wholesome. They do like all fresh, organic pancake stuff and all that sort of stuff. Fun veggies mixed into your food, and we've been able to give that stuff out as well.
So the Saanich Peninsula Food Bank, also the Souk Food Bank, and the Goldstream Food Bank, all recipients of funding through the Kids Count program, through CFAX Santa's Anonymous. And when you buy a ticket for that raffle for the Mega Summer 50/50 and the half that's going to charity, those are all food banks and programs that will be receiving the funds, some of the funds. We've got many great programs like this to support with your donation. And you might win some money, too, because, again, the jackpot's almost at $40,000. It's amazing. We're talking to one of those recipients, operations manager with the Saanich Peninsula Lions, Tyson Elder. Thank you so much for talking to us about sort of some of the ways this money is out there to help. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I'm just so thankful for programs like what CFAX Santa's Anonymous does. And this 50/50 is such a great idea. It's such a out-of-the-box way to fundraise and support all of the agencies they help. And we're just so thankful for everything this community does for us and what CFAX does for the community in the whole. So it's just, we're so thankful. Thank you.
Oh, Tyson, great to talk to you. And as we've been speaking, it's hit $39,150. That's the jackpot now. That number is going to keep going up over the next 24 hours or so. I can feel it. Thank you so much, Tyson.
No problem. Have a great day.
All right, Lisa, look at that jackpot.
Yeah, that's good. Every time we talk about it, it goes up because the interest is there. You're going to pocket cash. You're going to look like a rock star for our local charity, be giving half to the charity. And it's the first time we've held a 50/50.
Yeah, we've never done this.
We don't know how high it's going to go. And so that's part of the excitement here is we don't have a record to beat. We're setting this. This is the debut. So you make it a success. So if you buy a ticket, even starting at $10, it's going to make a difference in the community and, of course, in your pocket as well.
Find out more at cfax1070.com.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 8:02 on Wednesday, August 26th. Sunshine today, rain for tomorrow, possibly. Chance of showers. We'll get to that in the weather in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Bast.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. The federal government has unveiled its hit back against U.S. tariffs and plans to match those tariffs dollar for dollar starting in just under 2 weeks on September 8th. That's a Tuesday. The details come alongside a $7.5 billion aid package for workers and businesses being impacted by this trade tiff. CTV's Mike Lecouture has the latest details.
Tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum will go from 25% to 50%. Other goods seeing levies at that rate include perfumes and makeup and honey.
We're also targeting products that will target states in the U.S. And so we're being wise and strategic to put political pressure.
And government officials couldn't put a number on how these measures will impact the economy on this side of the border.
We will publish our estimate when we come to the budget. This is really about supporting Canada.
Meantime, yesterday, the White House releasing details outlining what it claimed to be a record of Canadian abuse on trade that led to their tariffs being put in place in the first place. Premier David Eby says he's pleased to see support for workers impacted. He says this is especially crucial for British Columbia.
It is important to see and to hear leadership at the federal level say that they are in this for as long as it takes and to do whatever it takes to support Canadian workers. We know that British Columbia, Ontario, and Quebec are disproportionately impacted as provinces that make stuff that is sold in the United States. And as a result, we're disproportionately impacted. Our workers are going to need that support.
Premier Eby says that he would like to see Canada not go forward with the purchase of F-35 fighter jets for the U.S. He also urged all BCers not to travel to the U.S. and to support Canadian products moving forward more so. Speaking of Donald Trump, one Democratic governor is weighing in. He believes he will soon reverse the trade policies targeting Canada. This is California's Governor Gavin Newsom on CTV yesterday.
I think it's a matter of days, if not weeks, at the latest, where he completely flips on this and then tries to save face. It will be all about saving face, the ego at play here.
Newsom was asked whether Canadians can expect tariffs to be reversed under Democratic leadership and said, well, he can't guarantee that. He can guarantee we won't see anything like what's been playing out. Things are continuing to play out in the BC Conservative camp. Teresa Watt this morning announced her intention to quit the Conservatives. She will sit as an independent, saying she'll no longer serve under leader Carolyn Finlay. Watt says Finlay failed to apologize over serious and unfounded accusations Finlay reportedly made about her that questioned her allegiance to Canada. She says were distasteful and hurtful. Watt is the third MLA to exit the official opposition in as many days. We've learned, of course, that Carolyn Finlay says she hasn't fired anyone. Executives voluntarily left or were moved out by the board of the party. She says the caucus has a vision for the province.
We will do this. This is our primary agenda, to protect what British Columbians already have and help them have more. A better life, a more affordable life, a job with more certainty.
Yesterday, Rosalind...
A job where instead of looking for EI benefits, they know where their job site is the next morning.
Rosalind Bird became the third MLA this month. So now there's four, and the second in as many days to exit the party yesterday. So a lot of movement within the BC Conservative camp. That's your news to 8:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, will you take advantage of the soon-to-be expanded BC Transit service that will take you to and from the Victoria International Airport? 15% say yes. You can vote now at cfax1070.com or also on the iHeartRadio app. Then Lisa Best, your news time is 8:07.
Thanks, Lisa. We are looking at sunshine today, chance of showers tomorrow, and a full weather forecast in just a moment. In the sports, Victoria Shamrocks have hit the end of the road. The Coquitlam Adnacs defeated the Shamrocks 8-7 in Game 6 last night. So it's the Adnacs that go on to win the WLA Championship Series 4-2. The Adnacs will advance to represent the WLA against the MSL champions for the National Man Cup. The opponent yet to be decided as those games are still going on. In baseball, Nathan Lucas was thrown out at second base to end the game after hitting a 2-run single as the Toronto Blue Jays fell to the Kansas City Royals. 5-3 the score there. The Jays slipped to 2.5 games out of a wild card berth with that loss. Kansas City has now won 9 straight. And for the Seattle Mariners, Cal Raleigh tied a team record with homers and 4 straight at-bats to carry the Mariners to a 4-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. The Seattle Mariners in their own scrap trying to get a wild card spot. And there are 5 Canadians in U.S. Open qualifying action today. On the women's side, 2019 champion Bianca Andreescu faces Veronica Padres, with Rebecca Marino and Carson Branstein also on the schedule. Alexis Garamou and Liam Draxi represent Canada on the men's side. And that's your sports to 8:09. CFAX traffic and weather, still a little residual backup on the Island Highway at Whale Road. There was an incident involving a motorcyclist earlier this morning at that location. It's all cleared up now, but if things are still moving a little slow at that spot, that's what was happening earlier today. But it looks like we're getting through the most of it now. We have some construction on Quadra kicking off today. It is underground utility work. It's going to close the northbound lane on Quadra Street from Broughton up to Fort. So it's just a small little block. It's the one right by the old YMCA, right by that building. So northbound lane closure for vehicles, and the bike lane is also closed for cyclists. So you'll have to find a different way around or dismount and walk around the other side. For the weather forecast today, eventually a high of 22 degrees. We're already at 16 right now at the airport. A little warmer in some places. And that 22 high will feel even warmer with a bit of humidity. Same story as the last few days. Clouds do roll in tonight, lows to 13. Tomorrow it's a mainly cloudy day with a chance of showers in the morning and early afternoon. And then for Friday, still a little cloudy, but clears up for the weekend. It's going to be cooling off, though. It's sort of walking down the temperatures a little bit. And by the time we get to Saturday, Sunday, it's only a high of 19 degrees. Still very pleasant, just not quite as warm as we've been experiencing for this last little stretch in Victoria. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto has been continuing to stay up, but right now it's only up by 0.04 of a point. So coming down a little bit. Right now at 36,957. The Dow is down 122 to 53,454. The Nasdaq is down 53 to 26,098 Canadian dollar at 72 cents US.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Continuing coverage of the Canadian-U.S. trade spat and how it affects things right here on the island. That's going to be coming up in just just a few moments when we talk to the folks at Finest at Sea. They're not only selling fish at their great shop in James Bay, they have a fleet of ships that go out and do fishing. So when we put all the counter tariffs on American seafood, what does it mean for local producers? We're going to have that conversation. But before we get there, just a quick look at this other breaking news we just have in BC politics. You just read this at 8, Lisa.
Yes.
Another BC Conservative has quit. Another one. We've had one like every day this week.
Pretty much.
So this is Teresa Watt, who will sit as an independent, saying she can no longer serve under leader Carrie Lynn Findlay. The circumstances here are interesting. So this is what we're learning so far. Teresa Watt has this statement out announcing her departure, and it's been reported that there were some remarks about her that Findlay herself made, calling her CCP. That is a reference to the Chinese Communist Party. So Findlay herself referring to one of her MLAs, one of her caucus members, as associated with the Chinese Communist Party. Watt wanted an apology. Watt apparently was told there would be an apology, but as none was coming, she said she cannot continue to be led by somebody who has questioned her loyalty and has decided to leave.
What's the head count now?
So we've had, of course, Peter Millibar kicked off things about 11 days ago.
Ian Patton.
Ian Patton we've been talking about. Then yesterday was Rosalind Byrd. She left yesterday. So this is 4 in just 11, 12 days, something like that.
Correct.
It's just been remarkable now that it's been like a daily thing. And
it speaks to a larger issue.
Yeah.
When 4 people leave within days, there's a problem.
And this
4
one,
people quit a company, there's a problem.
Yeah, and this one was interesting because of the specific reason that she's talking about. Most of them have not really gotten into specifics or really accused Findlay as leader directly as being the issue. They've kind of used, I don't know, more diplomatic language about differences
of opinion. Yes.
Or maybe even just blaming the party direction as a whole. But this one, a very specific personal issue for Teresa Watt coming out in the reports as to why she has left. So that's just emerging this morning. We're just getting that news in, and Lisa will keep us updated as we learn more about the story. But yeah, BC politics certainly
heating up.
Interesting this week. Hey, it's 8:15. That's the time here on this Wednesday morning. We're going to get into that conversation with Finest at Sea about the seafood tariffs. That's next. But right now, let's get to the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Thank you. We start with the U.S. president saying Canada's not a fan of dealing. Says Canada's not a fan of dealing with the country when it comes to trade. Speaking on the Glenn Beck program, Trump says Canada's been ripping them off for years, and it's time to finally do something about it. Apparently he is. Trump says some of the products that they get from Canada are being impacted, but he says they don't truly impact the bigger picture. About 700 U.S. products will be under tariffs or larger tariffs come less than 2 weeks from now. September 8th is when it all kicks in. Many people asking, how is this going to affect you personally and on a business level? We'll be unpacking that as we go through the week. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says he will put aside partisanship to work with other parties to respond to the tariff situation. Speaking to reporters yesterday in Windsor, Poilievre reiterated his calls for the Liberals to recall Parliament and release the text of the proposed deal that Canada's trade team walked away from last week. Ottawa, of course, hitting back in the latest escalation in the trade war, including hitting U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs with tariffs from 25% rising to 50% as of September 8th. And several states suing the tech giant Meta as it designed its social media platforms, including Facebook and WhatsApp, to engage children and get them addicted. Meta has now settled in its federal trial over social media addiction. States also claiming that Meta misled users about the safety of the apps. As part of the settlement, Meta has denied the allegations, but committed to reestablishing daily limits, 2 hours, and blocks on nighttime use for teen users, along with enhanced age assurance measures. All really good things. That's your news to 8:16.
Traffic and weather coming up. If you see a problem out there, let us know at 71010. And then we'll be talking to the folks behind Finest at Sea, specifically Bob Fermeni. He's the owner. What will Canadian counter tariffs on U.S. seafood products mean for his business and just for seafood industries here on the island and on BC's coast? We're going to get into that next. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 8:19. And on the roads, we're looking a lot better than we were a little earlier. Island Highway at Whale Road all cleared up after a motorcycle incident earlier today. We do have construction on Quadra, Broughton to Fort. It's just that one block. It's just northbound traffic affected. Watch out for delays there going up until 7 p.m. today for underground utility work. It's right by where the YMCA, the former YMCA building was at Broughton Street and Quadra. In the weather forecast, sunny today, little wind off the water, highs of 22, humidex of 25, clouds rolling in tonight, lows to 13. And then for tomorrow, that chance of showers arrives in the morning. It'll last into the early afternoon, highs of 20. It's just a chance of showers, 60% chance of scattered rain across Greater Victoria. Then for Friday, a little cloudy before the sun comes back for the weekend, but temperatures are starting to cool down a little bit. Only a high of about 19 degrees on Saturday and Sunday, which is plenty warm, just a little cooler than what we've seen the last few days.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at cfax1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, one of the big things Canada is planning to counter tariff is fish imports, seafood products. There are literally dozens of categories of fish set to see 25% levies, and this would kick in just after Labor Day if we do go ahead with our threats. I mean, things could change, who knows? But at the moment, seafood, a major thing we plan to tariff. And what does this mean for Canadian fisheries and fish markets? Do they benefit if the American products get priced a little higher? Will local producers benefit from this? I don't know. I thought we should reach out to one of the locals who does this. Bob Fermeni owns Finest at Sea, who, of course, have that fish market in James Bay, but they've got their fleet of ships that are out there fishing and providing products from right here off of our coast. So let's get him to share his thoughts. Bob Fermeni, great to talk to you. How you doing?
Bob, Ryan, sorry, it's early in the morning. I'm doing fine, thanks. I'm up on the north coast, actually, right now on my salmon boat in northern Haida Gwaii, Dixon Entrance.
Yeah, you are living the life right now because this is what you do, of course. And I love the fact that you got the fishing boats out there as well. Like you're not just selling the food there; you're catching the food.
Yeah, on the boat right now, catching salmon. That's fun times. Living the northern dream, actually. Can't tell you how wonderful it is.
Oh, that's great. It must be beautiful up there. But here you are on the beautiful scenery, catching the salmon. Probably also, though, off to the side, trying to sort out trade relations with the United States and what all these counter tariffs might mean for businesses like yours. What's your kind of initial sense of things?
Oh, it's just very scary, of course. There's nothing we can do about it. We can do the best we can catching fish and delivering it and getting it out to the people that want it. But, with big governments fighting back and forth, it's horribly scary. One stroke of the pen and we're losing money. We're already losing money. Prices of fuel are just horrifying. And when, a year ago when we'd go to the pump and have a bill, it was high-ish. Now it's unbelievable, Anyhow, so enough of my whining.
No, but I guess that's a way things are already affecting you. And then you get this tariff. Now, how will it affect you? First off, let's take it one way. So you sell fish, and we've mentioned you catch a lot of your own fish. But do you import any seafood to sell from the United States that you would have to pay a tariff on?
No, we actually don't.
Okay.
That tariff that's come in, we really don't import any fish, but we do export. And, of course, that's our worry that since now our Honorable Mark Carney has put a tariff on incoming seafood, then, of course, we're worried that they're going to counter that. And, of course, at a much higher level because, of course, they're like many resource-based business in Canada, we do export to the United States a lot, and they're a big part of our market. And, they're people that I've dealt with down there for 50 years now. Literally, I've been in the business that long, and it's such a sad thing to drive these wedges between friendly relations.
Are there any U.S. tariffs on the seafood already, or is that so far untouched I hear the worry is that the Americans might retaliate again, but as it stands now, are there any tariffs?
There isn't actually right now that none that I know of, and maybe some small ones on certain things, but I really don't even want to talk about it because they might hear me talking and all of a sudden fix that. So,
don't let them know. Don't let them know. Now,
let's not poke the bear is what I like to say.
What about the flip side? Here in BC, for instance, we probably do import from Alaska, for instance, salmon and other products caught off the coast of Alaska, crab. You see those in the grocery stores all the time. If those become more expensive because of these tariffs, would that actually benefit a supplier like yours? If a Canadian producer is unaffected, would people be buying the local product more, and could that maybe boost your sales?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of different angles, and as a matter of fact, yes, I do import some salmon from Alaska. That just reminded me. But you know, having these kinds of international fights with other countries, there's no good can come of it. Can't make good out of bad. So I don't think that's worth discussing the nuances to that level, Ryan. I'm sorry, but
right.
You know, but yes, there are tariffs on the way in right now, and that's going to cost us money. But just the long and short of it is that you can't make good out of bad, and it's hopefully this will all turn around and get back to normal, and sometime in the next few years. We're used to bucking into heavy seas in the seafood industry, so we're always ready for anything. But when you go to the fish market and the price of fish is high, just remember we're not driving Lamborghinis and wearing mink socks.
You're up there on a boat catching salmon. That's what you're doing.
We're just surviving. So, anyhow, thanks for calling in today, Ryan.
Yeah, no worries. But it sure sounds like you're not expecting any positives out of this. No, like boom in your own sales or anything. It's a bit muddier than that. And my sense from you is you're just kind of nervous and worried about the whole thing, which makes sense. Trade wars, like you said, it's not like anybody comes out of these things unscathed.
No, exactly. And as I say, I really don't even like to talk about it because it's all in the planning stage, and by September 8th, we'll have a lot better idea.
Well, Bob Fermetti from Finest at Sea, I'm really glad you could talk about it. I know you don't like to talk about it, but thank you for weighing in and sort of giving us a sense of how your business is feeling about all of this swirling around the news. But I'll let you get back at it. Like you said, you're on that boat right now, so I'll let you go back to doing what you love, and that's catching the fish.
Thanks, Ryan, and hope to see you next time I'm in town.
Yeah,
Thanks for calling in.
We'll see you at the shop.
Yeah, great. Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay, there we go. Bob Fermetti again, Finest at Sea. Interesting to hear his take that, this is not as easy as just like, oh, hey, if American products are tariffed, my products will be bought more, and that's good for us. He does import some products. He's worried about American retaliation as he sells a lot of products into the U.S. Interesting take there from one of the local businesses working in a field that is heavily covered by the Canadian counter tariffs. We're going to talk more about all of these things as we continue this coverage of Canada's trade war with the United States. But right now, we'll take a break. We got the 8:30 news next with Lisa.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. 40 years of Fringe magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 8:30 on this Wednesday, August the 26th. We're looking at sunshine today. A chance of showers by tomorrow. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins. Here's Lisa Best.
Thank you and good morning. Premier David Eby used a liquor store as a backdrop for comments about the trade war with the U.S. He pointed to the success of the U.S. liquor ban and getting the attention of America's political leaders. He also took the opportunity to encourage us to buy Canadian.
We've seen another attack from the United States. And again, I'm asking British Columbians, if you have a choice, please don't travel to the United States. Choose another place to do your tourism. If you can choose a Canadian product instead of an American one, please choose it. Right now, Canadian workers from coast to coast to coast need our support.
Eby says he was pleased for the most part with the counter tariffs and support workers impacted announced by the federal government. That information involves $7.5 billion. Canada's finance minister admitted the new U.S. levies on some goods will have real consequences for us. Francois-Philippe Champagne says the federal government's response will be proportionate and strategically targeted. Meantime, California Governor Gavin Newsom is speaking to CTV. He says he believes Donald Trump is days or weeks away from reversing his tariffs and trade policies aimed at the country. He says that when he was asked if Canadians can expect that tariffs won't be part of any democratically led White House moving forward.
This is not an industrial policy, what Trump's doing across the board on hockey sticks. This is a tantrum. And I think it's important that be reinforced. And so I can't guarantee that, but I can guarantee you nothing like this.
Newsom said he wouldn't be lying to say that he isn't considering making a run for the presidency himself in 2028, saying he will decide sometime after the midterms in November, see where the chips fall. Another day, another defection for the BC Conservatives. If you're keeping count, it's four. It's the second in a row here today. Teresa Watt quit the BC Conservative camp this morning. She says she will sit as an independent, saying she could no longer serve under Carrie Lynn Finley. Prince George Valemount, MLA Rosalind Bird threw in the towel yesterday. Bird also plans to sit as an independent moving forward in the legislature. She says BCers are tired of the political infighting, name-calling, and division. Bird adds she will support initiatives that are right for her riding and oppose those who are not, so more to come from the Finley camp. Finley herself held a news conference yesterday with members of her shadow cabinet, saying she hasn't fired anyone or executives they have left voluntarily. She says the caucus does have a vision for the province.
We will do this. This is our primary agenda, to protect what British Columbians already have and help them have more. A better life, a more affordable life, a job with more certainty. A job where instead of looking for EI benefits, they know where their job site is the next morning.
Two others who have recently left the party, Ian Patten and Peter Millibar, say they plan to form their own party moving forward. We are learning that actor Tim Curry has died. He was 80. Curry is best known for his role as Dr. Frankenfurter in the role of Rocky Horror Picture Show. TMZ reports Curry has been dealing with a number of health issues for years. He passed away last night. And of course, more tributes rolling in for Dolly Parton, who we lost at the age of 80 as well. ABC's will revisit Parton's home state in Tennessee in Pigeon Forge, outside of Dollywood, where fans are paying their respects.
People laying flowers at various places around this region for Dolly, and surely more of that will continue as people continue to pay their respects to the one and only Dolly Parton. She is an icon around the world, but this is what she called home.
And on a lighter note, almost half of BC homes have one. Today's National Dog Day.
Since we're in the dog days of summer, it's only fitting that today is National Dog Day. It was created back in 2004 to raise awareness about the massive number of dogs in shelters that need adoption. And it's where we first heard the phrase, adopt, don't shop, urging people to think twice before buying puppies at pet stores. National Dog Day also recognizes the contributions that service dogs make to keep people safe. I'm Daria Albinger.
Don't know where the cats come in, but we certainly like our dogs. Canada is home to an estimated 7.2 million puppers. That's your news to 8:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning: are you going to take advantage of the soon-to-be expanded BC Transit service that will take you to and from the Victoria International Airport? 15% say yes. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or in the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 8:36.
Thanks, Lisa. Quick look at the weather, where we've got mostly sunny skies coming. A few clouds out there right now. 16 degrees, eventually hitting a high of 22. Over to CFAX 1070 Sports. It's the end of the road for the Victoria Shamrocks. The Coquitlam Adnax defeated the Shamrocks 8-7 in Game 6 last night to win the Western Lacrosse Association Championship Series 4-2. The Adnax now advanced to represent the WLA against, well, we don't know who, but somebody from the MSL on the East Coast, or eastern part of the country. So whoever wins that one goes on to face now the Adnax for the National Man Cup. It's the end of the road for the Shamrocks, but congratulations to the Shamrocks for making it all the way to Game 6. In baseball, we have a loss for the Toronto Blue Jays as they continue their wild card scrape. It was the Blue Jays dropping a 5-3 decision to Kansas City in the opener of their 3-game set at the Rogers Center. 29 games left. The wild card race heating up, and Blue Jays pitcher Max Scherzer says everybody has to up their game at this point.
Everybody's got to play well. That's how you win ball games at big league level. You got to pitch, got to hit, you got to play defense, bullpen, bench guys, you name it. Everybody's got to play well.
The Blue Jays started the day 2 games out of a wild card spot in the American League standings, and a win for the Seattle Mariners. They're also in their own wild card battle. They had Cal Raleigh tying a team record with homers and 4 straight at-bats to carry the Seattle Mariners to a 4-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. Serena Williams and Carlos Alcaraz are out of the mixed doubles tournament at the U.S. Open after winning their debut playing together. Williams and Alcaraz got knocked out in the mixed doubles quarterfinals. It was Williams' first match back at the Grand Slam tournament in New York since 2022, as she makes her return to tennis at age 44. CFAX Sports Time is 8:38. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. The collision on Island Highway at Whale Road from earlier today involving that motorcycle is all cleared up. So the West Shore commute has returned to normal. In fact, and I've been picking on the Costco neighborhood, so Transcat at the highway, Millstream area. If you're coming into downtown Victoria from there, it's taking you about 32 minutes is the estimated travel time right now, which really is not so bad. Things looking like they're returning to normal for the West Shore commute. No waits at BC Ferries. 9 o'clock sailing coming up with vehicle deck space left. And in the weather forecast today. Mostly sunny, although there's some clouds out there. If you kind of look, depending on where you're looking, you can see the rain clouds. They're sort of surrounding us. They're just not over us yet. They will be by tomorrow. So today, though, some sunshine. Highs up to about 22 degrees. Feeling a little warmer in that humidity. We'll see increasing clouds tonight, lows to 13. And then tomorrow, that chance of showers in the morning and into the afternoon. Highs of about 20 tomorrow. A little cloudy on Friday, but the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, looking sunny. Temperatures about 19 degrees as the high. Right now, around Victoria, looking at Langford. It's 17 degrees already. Oak Bay by the water, it is right now 14 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX down 49 points to 36,908. The Dow Jones Industrial Average in New York is down 122 to 53,454. And the NASDAQ also dropping 60 points to 26,090. Canadian dollar at 72 cents. U.S. even, which is down a little bit from yesterday's close.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Thanks for joining us as we continue to talk about the trade war, and we've got another breaking news as well with BC politics mixed in as well, and people are joining those conversations at 7-10-10. So getting to the text machine, one texter saying, I feel like a hamster in a maze working my way through the tariffs to get my budget back to stable equilibrium. That's from Dawn, texting it at 7-10-10. Another texter saying, why is there no talk about what will they do with the money collected from the tariffs? That's from a texter about, Canada's counter tariffs. I don't know if they've specifically said that, but I'm assuming.
Well, it hasn't come into play yet. It comes in, and we're 2 weeks away from it. And I think that will come.
Yeah.
The first thing is rolling it out. And they're also giving $7.5 billion to help Canadian companies and individuals get past this hurdle. So, depending on how long the tariffs have to last, but this is early days and it hasn't even been implemented. We've seen how things swing pretty widely in the U.S. camp. So we have a Tuesday in between there.
Yeah.
Something could happen.
Yeah, lots could happen still. But, if nothing else, these things are very expensive.
Oh, yes.
And, a little bit of tariff revenue is going to probably help out with a lot of the supports that the Canadian government's going to have to give to a bunch of the sectors that are affected by tariffs on either side
Agreed,
of this.
including in this province.
Yeah. We were talking to the folks at Finest at Sea. Bob Fermeni, he owns Finest at Sea. They're the fish shop in James Bay, but so much more because they got a fleet of boats they send out. And they do a lot of their own fishing. They catch a lot of their own product, and then they sell it not just at the shop, but as he was telling us, they sell a lot of stuff to the United States. They import some of the fish from the United States that they don't catch themselves. So He was talking about how for him, he's really quite concerned. You could kind of hear the worry in his voice.
Absolutely.
About all of this. He's worried that the U.S. might retaliate more so, maybe more tariffs on Canadian seafood products.
Yeah.
He's worried already about the costs of doing business escalating and what that's going to mean for his business. So I thought he was an interesting example of just sort of the uncertainty that all of this is bringing.
Absolutely. And you look at fishing, it's not as lucrative as it was, say, decades ago. And he's out on a boat in the North Shore right now. And he said, which I thought was wonderful, quote, I don't wear mink socks. I'm a fisherman at heart. And so I understand the worry and the concern. We talked to the construction industry representative about what it's going to cost to buy a sheet of plywood. What's it going to cost if you're doing some home renovations or if you're a major builder? All of this is to come. So unpacking all this is going to take a bit, taking effect again on Tuesday, September 8th. But of course, the Trump administration's tariffs on us are in effect now.
Yeah, we've had some interesting conversations over the course of the day, like with Bob from Finest at Sea. If you missed any of this, a reminder that you can catch highlights of the show because we do this as a podcast. You can follow Ryan and Lisa, the podcast, on any of your favorite podcast services, or you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. Have you liked and subscribed to the CFAX 1070 YouTube page yet? You can also, of course, watch it on CTV Vancouver Island and Crave TV. So many places to listen and watch to the show here. But I was also mentioning the other story that people are weighing in on is just this morning, within the last hour, we've had more breaking news from BC politics. Yet another BC Conservative MLA has left the party. So this is like one a day this week.
Pretty much.
The latest one is Teresa Watt quitting to sit as an independent, saying she could no longer serve under Carrie Lynn Findlay. A really detailed reason, though, which we haven't quite got from some of the other folks leaving the BC Conservatives. She says that Findlay herself, the leader, called her CCP, a reference to the Chinese Communist Party of Canada. She was deeply offended by this, asked for an apology that she was told would be coming. It didn't come.
Right.
And that's why she's decided now she can't stay in the party with somebody who has questioned her loyalty, was the quote from her. I did have a text here, though, on that saying, it's funny how you guys don't cover the EB leadership debacle, but you got no problem casting shade on a party that'll work for BC. Almost feels like you might be harboring some mainstream media bias towards the Conservatives. I disagree, Texter. I think if it was MLAs leaving either party, if it was the NDP or the Conservatives because they had been called, I don't know, their loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party was being thrown around, I feel like that would be a story regardless of which party.
Yeah, we report on all of it as it comes in. So,
but hey, thanks for the text. We appreciate you joining the conversation. All opinions welcome here. It's 8:45. Time for the news. Here's Lisa. Take it away. What's going on in the world?
Thank you. After close to 2 years of construction, the BC SPCA is set to open its first-of-a-kind Vancouver Island Behaviour Centre. It's up in North Cowichan, and there'll be a special ceremony happening tomorrow afternoon. The unique concept is aimed at addressing the growing number of fearful and under-socialized animals needing significant behavioural support before finding their forever homes. The centre will feature specialized spaces, including a room that replicates a real home to add to behavior modification. Hot and dry conditions means we have to modify our behavior to ensure that no more fires start in the province, at least human cause. Lightning strikes are a zone animal. That wildfire in BC's Fraser Canyon continues to burn out of control, but it's no longer considered a fire of note, leaving 3 of those remaining in the province. Across Vancouver Island, there's 19 fires burning. 5 are considered out of control. They are smaller and in wilderness areas, more in mid and northern parts north of Campbell River. The BC Wildfire Service says a change in weather has reduced the threat of the Brunswick Creek fire on the mainland spreading, and it's downgraded the evacuation order. Still, there's 166 fires burning in the province, so we have to be careful as we head into even drier conditions. Stars continue to pay tribute to Dolly Parton, who died yesterday in Nashville, Tennessee, at the age of 80. In a social media post, singer-songwriter and Beatles legend Paul McCartney acknowledged her singing and philanthropy, which he's called, quote, unrivaled in the world of country music. As tributes roll in, we've also learned that we've lost Tim Curry. He's had health problems for years. He died yesterday at the age of 80. And just a note about the 50-50 draw, we've hit a new milestone. The current 50-50 jackpot for the CFAX Santa's Anonymous Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50 now sits at $40,245. Half will go to you if you're the winner. The other half goes to the charity to help feed kids and keep them in good form throughout our region.
We got over the 40 grand
Sure
mark.
did. We hit the hurdle.
I was wondering if we were going to get that by the end of the show. That is amazing. Thank you, whoever went and bought tickets in the last little bit there.
Everybody did.
$40,245.
It's going to go to a BCer, and you have to be over the age of 19, but that's the only specification. When are we doing this draw?
7 a.m. Friday, right after your news.
Excellent.
Not just doing it here, of course. We've got our partners at 107.3 Virgin Radio and CTV Vancouver Island. All part of this. We'll be broadcasting it on all the stations at that moment.
Well, thank you for being generous.
Yeah.
We welcome the money.
An event coming up this weekend we want to talk about next, Lisa. It's called a morning reading rave. My understanding is at a park at Esquimalt, people are invited to come Sunday morning and just quietly read together.
Oh, how civilized.
It sounds like such an unusual event.
It's civilized.
Let's have a big party and quietly read together. But
It's like a library, but al fresco.
Outdoors.
Yeah.
It sounds really interesting. So I've got the organizer of this event coming into the studio in just a few seconds to talk to us more about why would you organize a morning reading rave? We're going to find out next.
CFAX, Santa's Anonymous.
Hey, grown-ups, you know, the ones still kids at heart.
Through the Kids Count Children's Grant Program powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous, local kids are getting help with summer camp fees, food security, and mental wellness support.
Where do you see kids needing the most support?
Access to healthy, fresh food through the summer.
Visit CFAXSantas.com right now and give directly to the cause that matters most to you.
Kids Count.
Powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous.
To find out how you can help, visit CFAXSantas.com.
CFAX traffic and weather, it's 8:51. Things are clearing up on our major routes. We're starting to see the volume delays ease and no more crashes or incidents to report. We do have some construction, though, that popped up today. This is Quadra Street between Broughton and Fort Street northbound, right by where the old YMWCA building is there. It's that stretch where they've got some underground work going, closing the northbound lanes on Quadra just for that block. The bike lanes are also affected, and that's going to happen until 7 p.m. today. No sailing waits at BC Ferries. 9 o'clock sailing coming up. Lots of room left for vehicle deck space. And for the weather forecast, a few clouds around, but we are not predicting the showers to arrive now till tomorrow. Originally, we were thinking this evening. Now we're pushing that back a little bit, and we'll get some sunny times today. Highs of 22. Little humidity still in the air. Increasing clouds overnight. Then that small chance of showers for the morning and early afternoon hours tomorrow. Some clouds on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday looking sunny. Great weather if you wanted to show up at a park in Esquimalt and read together offline in a big gathering. We're going to talk about that next.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Yeah, I just thought this interesting idea was worth talking about. A morning reading rave.
I love it. Read between the lines.
Yeah. So
it's a black and white event.
Sunday, so it's this Sunday, 10:45 to 12 at Captain Jacobson Park in Esquimalt. Really cool park right by the marina there. Views out towards the city. Cool
Nice.
spot. But what is this all about? Why are people being invited to come turn off their cell phones, get together in a park, and just quietly read together? The person who's putting this together is in the studio with me right now. Diana Dakotas is the organizer. Diana, great to get you in the studio. How you doing?
I'm great, Ryan. Thank you for having me.
So why did you decide to organize this event? Let's start with where the idea came from.
So I went to Europe this past summer, and I went to an offline event where people gathered with their cell phones turned off to read together. And it was such a cool experience to be around people where nobody was on their phones. And in a space in time where we are getting more and more disconnected because we are all on our phones, which obviously they do have their positives in their usage, but I thought I wanted to bring it to Victoria. So I've started a business recently this past year, and putting on events is something that I love to do for the community.
Okay, so this was something you found in Europe, and are they common? Was it just a random thing you saw, or is this a movement there?
It's a movement there, yeah. They're popping up all around, and there's different chapters that open up for offline events, and so I was so inspired and wanted to bring it over here. And
the event, you said, it's not just about sitting around quietly reading. There's the offline part of it as well, which seems like that's almost, that's a pretty large part of it, is unplugging.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, facilitating that space to be present and intentionally have community surrounded in a local space. And we'll have live guitar music playing.
Oh, cool. Okay, so that's good. It's not totally silent.
No,
okay.
So the rave part of it is, it's not your typical rave, but it's, a big gathering of people. And there is soft music playing, but don't worry, neighbors, it's going to be pretty chill.
Can we still go around telling people, shh? No, it's not a library.
I mean, it depends on the experience you want to have. This is the first time we're offering this event, and so I am going to go with the flow, and I'm super excited.
You got good weather for it. How many people turned out in the one you're at in Europe?
In Europe, so that was in Amsterdam.
Okay.
So we'll just, take that into consideration. There were 300 people there.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So it was a party. It was a festival, a reading festival.
It was amazing.
That's so
What was the energy like?
Very chill, very calm. And it was also a morning event, and lots of kind of, people making new friends and connecting with others that are like-minded who want to break from their phones.
Now, if you want to show up, I'm thinking the logistics of this. Show up at Captain Jacobson Park. We mentioned 10:45 is when it starts. Do you bring a lawn chair or a towel to sit on?
Bring a picnic blanket. Think of that as like a big picnic. You can bring a picnic blanket or a chair, whatever's most comfortable for you.
And bring a book. And you've mentioned it's not entirely about just reading silently. There's going to be a bit of music. Are you encouraging people to mingle at all, or what's?
They want to. So it is introvert friendly, extrovert friendly, whatever you want it to be for yourself. You can come alone, come with your friends. Come with your family. You do need to be able to sit still for an hour if that is the experience you'd like to have. But it is a public park, right? So people could be walking through, and that's awesome. So come check it out. And I'm really excited.
So there are hard and fast rules here? Is there any rules to it? Because you're putting down the phone, you're picking up the book.
Yeah.
So you still have that proscenium, you still have that protection. If you don't want to talk to somebody, you read.
Exactly.
But if you do, you can reach out. So great idea.
Yeah, exactly. You can make it whatever you want it to be, but I will, at 11 o'clock, I'll say a little something. I have a couple surprises too, because, typically when we have our phones in our pockets, we want to take pictures and videos of things, but you won't have that because your phone will be off. So there's going to be some other little surprises that I have for us to still capture the moment, but just in an offline way.
It's still such an unusual and unique idea.
Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I mean, this shouldn't be novel, but it has become novel because we always have our faces on our cell phones now. This shouldn't be novel, but it's so refreshing. Oh, we're going to read. We're going to do it old school.
Yeah.
Right? And to bring it back to actually, good for you.
Thank you.
To inspire us to do this. And hopefully there's more of this where it just becomes commonplace. It's like, we're going to have this reading group. Let's do it. And get 300 people out? Phenomenal.
Well, hopefully. Speaking of the turnout, do people need to reserve ahead, or do they just show up, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we do have a capacity of 70 people for this, and so I would love it if people could register for tickets online. It is free, or you can pay by contribution, and that just supports me in putting in more of these events. I'm doing a whole series of offline events, some that are more family-friendly, related to kids and sports, and other ones that are being more adult-oriented. So there are tickets available if you go to my website, goldpedal.ca, and you can just put your name in there for free. Or you can show up, and if there's space, we'll definitely love you to be there.
Give us that. Give us that once more.
Goldpedal.ca.
Okay, so that for this event, if you want to reserve and check it out, and for other events you're going to be organizing as well.
Perfect.
Diana Dakatis, she is the organizer here. Thank you so much for talking to us. This is such a cool idea. I'm really glad you shared the story.
Thanks, Ryan.
Well, that's it for today. We need to get ready for the 9 o'clock news. Lisa's got your top stories of the day. Much more great talk radio to come, though, so stay with us right here on CFAX 1070, and we'll talk tomorrow.